that was a fun behind the scenes getting stories of this meetup.
I mean,
That
I
the
told the
man
story on
was just.
comics.
I know. Not everybody crosses over. We have our own unique viewers, like one.
Which one? I've seen all.
We
I
do?
saw. I
Yeah,
saw all
Eric.
of them in comics.
Eric's like our viewer. He's our
No, he's
fan.
not.
Yeah,
He
we're not
started with
sharing him.
us. He started
If
with us and now has
We're laying
migrated
claim to
out.
him. He is ours, and no one else can have him.
I know because Eric's actually someone who's been he was a supporter of my comic strip and everything going back. So it's like there's a lot of ones where you incepted them into our chat, but we have one now. Smokey, Tina, Tommy. Gaming Collective. I'm willing to grant
school,
that
man.
Copied Kitty that a lot of them probably found us through the other people, but
yeah,
Eric,
we're supposed to be trying to give
Eric's
you that
our
mad
boy.
bump.
A mad bump? Is that like cocaine?
That's what no, that's what I did for Brahma. How do you think he got monetized? I gave him that mad bump.
We'd all be nothing without Mad.
The monetization.
I don't know, Mad. When you were on my channel for my birthday, I actually lost followers.
I was on your channel.
Yes, you were.
Look at some of the YouTubers I started out with. So many of them made it big. Culture Casino was nothing before I found him.
You're starting to sound like Ike when he's talking about Tina.
Matt is declaring himself the kingmaker now.
I feel more like a Bobby Brown.
I appreciate Davina is our one solid Rumble viewer now because of being shadow banned on YouTube. So yeah, your chat's coming through.
Refuses to subscribe to you on YouTube.
No, they were there. Stop trying to like talk down our subs.
Yeah,
that mad bump.
You're being a bad person.
Mad is over here trying to neg our channel into us, like being like, "Please, Mad, save us."
Oh man, sorry, I was reading the chat. Tommy,
you were not.
I brought up doing so. Tommy does like a old school retro toy stream, and
I would love that.
I pissed him one about Street Sharks 2-3 years ago. And he finally got around to it.
They brought them back. They're in stores again now. Street Sharks is in Targets right now being sold.
Did Vin Diesel come back to do the commercials again?
No, I think they I don't know if they'd want him back. To answer your question, no, Eric, we are completely unmonetized on all platforms. So it's
maybe
cool.
one day.
To be fair, at least it's still possible for you guys.
I mean, does Rumble let you? I think Rumble may let someone send a Rumble rant even when you're.
I don't know. I don't trust.
I don't know how
about
that
their
works.
numbers.
Yeah, their numbers are weird. It says that we have like these viewers and that we're getting ad rolls, and then it's like your ad income is like 12 cents for the lifetime of your channel.
Oh, so it's worth it.
And then I'm like, okay,
that 12 cents? I could use that shit.
But it says that, and then when I try to find a way to get our 12 cents, there's no way to actually cash it out.
Dude, I want my money. Where's my money, Chad?
Oh, here you go. Brahma does confirm Rumble rants are available day one. So
can't believe he's big timing you tonight, though.
What do you mean?
He big times us all the time.
Yeah,
Brahma pretty common.
Ever since he hit monetization. Changed. The money has changed them.
Do you call him over to try and help out a booth, and you're like, "Oh, what's up, Brahma?" And he walks right past you to talk to Culture and all the other big timers.
Worse, he doesn't even show up to the event.
Yeah, I do have, and I have had linked for a long time or Subscribe Star, but not people are perfectly welcome to go over there if they want to throw income our way. So,
I have another.
Cashing out on Rumble is the tricky part. Yeah. So in that case, I would point to Subscribe Star is actually pretty user friendly for cashing out if you get it if you have income coming through. Yeah. Street Sharks is mad applying for the Vin Diesel part. Totally mad.
Man, if I knew how to breakdance like him, I would. Did you ever see his breakdance instruction video or whatever?
I remember. All right, so years back.
Yes, you showed us that, I believe.
Yeah, I'm such a good bro.
I remember seeing this before Vin Diesel like hit it big with Riddick as his character in Pitch Black.
Mhm.
There was a thing where it was, I think it was on E! Entertainment Television before they just turned into like the Kardashian network.
Right.
They were following around these young up and coming like actors in Hollywood, and he was one of the people who, because he was attention whore, so he agreed to let them follow him around. He was just like the most annoying person.
What,
Like,
Vin
so
Diesel?
I know exactly, like, and so I before he even became an actor like of note that people cared about, I was like, this guy's a douche. And they're like, he's like, I got my big break. I'm going to be in Saving Private Ryan. I was like, you were in
Yep.
it 10 minutes and you died. You were like the
But
first one
memorable.
to die memorably. So
He also doesn't he also do techno music or some dumb shit?
I don't know. I mean, I
He's
watched
crazy, dude.
what is it?
Boiling Room? That
No,
was
Fast X. And I was like you said, that movie was so cuckoo bananas.
Is that the
and
last one?
Yes.
It was the best comedy of last year or whatever year it came out.
Jason Momoa was
Hands
having
down.
so much fun with it, and it seemed like no one else.
Phenomenal.
It's
Fast
one of
X
those
has
times.
basically become the scary movie of Fast and Furious.
It is.
Everyone
It's
knows
really
kung
fun.
fu. Everyone is a hacker.
Even the cars know kung fu.
Yeah. Man, I don't know if it was that one or the one
You
before.
can get
but
shot into an old like hatchback into space. That was in Part 9.
which one was it where Vin Diesel caught Michelle Rodriguez with the hood of his vehicle as if it was a glove? Because she's falling, and he's like, "Oh no, I gotta catch her. Let me catch her with my solid metal fucking vehicle."
Oh, that no, she's falling. It was on that like bridge, high like freeway,
yeah,
and she gets thrown off like a truck, and so he drives and like sort of spins his
to
car
catch her.
to catch her like it's a glove from baseball.
Yes,
And
it
I was like, no,
blew my mind.
that is a hard surface, and you're driving like a '70s one, so that should be still steel.
Yeah,
It's like
solid.
and even if it's solid steel, they're built to be, slick. She should bounce right off that thing
Oh,
and go right.
the height that she fell, she should have been liquidated.
I mean,
Liquefied.
that
No,
was after
liquidated.
they drove cars between buildings in Dubai. You remember where you drove out of one skyscraper
Yeah,
and then landed in the other, and somehow it was fine. There was no whiplash or death or anything like that.
You'll be
no,
fine, bro.
Slender, you're
Put
a
some
little
dirt on it.
low. You're a little low, but liquidated like a furniture store that's going out of business.
I mean,
And no-
yeah, that's when you're actually, you know, when you're selling things to get some money, that's called liquidating.
Yep.
My favorite part is that when they bring people back who died so obviously and horribly, they just don't explain it. They're just like, "Oh, you were alive? Yeah, I was."
What's
Okay.
the dude that died in the
The Tokyo Drift. There was
was his name Han?
yeah, Han.
Yeah.
He got pinned. His car had rolled,
Mhm.
so he was like upside down in the pinned car, and then it blew up.
Okay. So you're saying there's a chance.
And then they retconned it so Jason Statham was the one who blew him up.
But then they
But
wanted to
then-
make him a good guy.
Then they retconned it even more, and that somehow he saved him.
Dude, they should really lean into it and have someone be visually decapitated in a movie and then bring him back in the next one.
Yeah, but have a scar.
A neck scar.
Yeah, I mean,
This is my decapitation scar. Luckily, the EMTs got to me pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean,
these movies are crazy.
part of me appreciates how they just don't care and
Yeah.
they'll just do whatever. Like it's
It's-
it's like they've slowly morphed into the 1960s Batman of car movies, where it's like somehow his car is utility belt, like Matt was saying. Like, hold on, I have a button for that in my car.
It's crazy. They keep bringing in because they get to a point where nobody can lose to anyone. It's all in their contracts. Vin Diesel can't lose. The Rock can't lose. So they have to continuously bring in new people. But then they get to the point to where now they can't lose. So they're constantly having to. So
Yeah,
the
and
team
now
just keeps
they're
growing.
Yeah, so now Charlize Theron in the
Yep.
last one is now going to be a good guy.
And they,
Speaking-
dude, when they were escaping the Antarctic, Wonder Woman drove a submarine through a continent. Because Antarctica is a continent. It's
Well,
not
they
an
were
ocean.
no, they weren't in Antarctica. They were in Russia.
No.
I thought they were in like
Russia is
the
also a continent.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
Well, it's a
part
I mean-
of
country
a
on a
continent.
continent.
but it was the extreme icy north of it. It's normal for subs to crack through sometimes.
But not a continent though. Anyway, the point was before they escape, they're like, before we escape, let's have a fight. Charlize Theron and I guess was it Michelle
Gal Gadot.
Rodriguez with her?
Oh, Michelle Rodriguez, yeah.
Yeah, and they had to have a fight before they finished escaping. Fucking bananas. Wait,
So Eric agrees.
I
Fast
mean,
and Furious
weirdly,
is
the
my.
movies are making money.
Yeah. Well, not as much as, not
like-
even close to as much as they used to. But
It's like, let's
Faster-
get all the narcissists in Hollywood and have them make a movie.
so Eric says Fast and Furious my favorite franchise just because of the we don't care and we know it's all a meme. Jason Momoa 100% was doing that in that movie.
he was the Heath Ledger of that movie. You know what I mean? Like Dark Knight, everything else other than Heath Ledger isn't really all that good.
If you took the Heath Ledger Joker and you merged him with Tim Walls, that's the character that Jason Momoa seemed to be playing.
He is so
In Fast X.
flamboyant in the most masculine way I've ever seen.
He's
And-
definitely going to be a top. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
You know the one where he's talking to the
Or
dead guys?
Power bottom.
Yeah.
No one wanted that scene in there except for some chick that was a producer or whatever in maybe it was the head of the studio. Somebody really up high forced them to keep that in there because she loved it that much.
Gee,
Yeah.
ladies love Jason Momoa.
I loved when they had the standoff down in Cuba, I think is where they
Cuba.
were. They each
This
have
is
a
my
side-
island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have like 80 guys with them. They all have guns. And not once, not twice, but like 5 times they do the clicking sound that they add in post for the guns just because they raised it again.
My favorite thing is when I find it in a movie with a revolver.
Absolutely. They do it for every gun.
They do it like I
Are
noticed
you
it.
talking about when they just lift the gun up and it makes
just like-
not like you're racking the gun, just
Yes.
a weird clicky sound, like gun motion is happening and
Yep.
you need to hear it.
Yeah, no, for everybody out in Hollywood who doesn't actually handle guns, they think the sound of racking the gun is just the gun sound.
Yeah, that
Yep.
that just happens when you're swinging it around.
It's the same as those tubes that you use to swirl. Remember,
Oh,
there's just a long.
Pro tip. If you have a gun and while you're swinging it around, it makes that sound, do not pull the trigger because that gun is going to blow up.
Oh, it's so good, dude. I love that sound. I've seen it done with a knife. Awesome.
I've seen them when they edited into Henry Cavill scenes from Mission Impossible.
What,
He
when
were-
he
when
pops
he
his
like
elbows?
when he loads his I'm loading my guns. it's like okay, that's a little on the nose.
I want to watch that movie again. The Fest. I had to watch it twice because the first time I didn't know if it was as bananas as I thought because I was super fucking high. So the next day I made Shredder watch it with me to verify. It
You-
was.
I'm surprised Shredder was even able to make it through it, but you've brain tested her, so
Oh,
it's
she's certified.
a certified brainologist.
Yeah, no, like just a bad movie. She loves bad movies as much as I do. Communion hat. You guys got to see it if you haven't seen it. It's with Christopher Walken. It's probably his best performance, and he ad-libbed like all of it. By aliens.
Christopher Walken is a national treasure. We all know this.
I watched that one with The Rock and him and John William Scott.
Yeah, The Rundown.
Yeah. It's good. That's probably The Rock's best movie.
It was before The Rock had turned into the parody of himself.
I really did enjoy the rundown.
Yeah.
There was a time where The Rock was actually trying to branch out and not just be one thing. He did The Rundown, but at the same time he did Get Shorty's sequel,
Cool.
whatever, Too Cool, where he
Yeah.
was parodying himself playing a gay wannabe actor opposite Vince Vaughn. That movie doesn't get as much credit for having some great moments as it should.
That's how I learned about you can only say the F word once in a PG-13 movie.
Yep, and it has to be in a non-sexual context.
Mhm.
Yeah, and you can show one boob but not two.
That's not true.
That's a weird rule.
That's not true
That's
because just one of the guys, she flashed both her boobs at the
oh,
end.
you can't. All right, so PG-13 was brand new; they hadn't solidified the rules
Oh.
yet. I mean, realize that in a PG-13 Temple of Doom, they had him kali-mawing hearts out of people's chests.
Oh, I
You
remember.
think that would? You think that's making PG-13 now? Nope.
Not nowadays.
I swear, I was trying to the other day. My son's asking about Indiana Jones because we're working through the back catalog of great movies. And so we're over at my father's house and we're talking about it. And he's like, which is the best Indiana Jones? I was like, well, I like Last Crusade the
Wait,
best.
how old is he?
He's 9, gonna be 10.
Cool. So Temple of Doom's his favorite.
Oh no, he hasn't watched them yet. So he's talking about it. And I was like, but my son is a little more sensitive to some of that stuff, so I don't show him some of the same movies that I was okay with. So Temple of Doom was the one I didn't want to show him.
Right. Yeah.
And so I'm trying to talk around it, because my son is very inquisitive. So he asked me about because he picks up on stuff. So he's like, you said they made PG-13 for that movie, and I was like, they did. He's like, so why? And I was like, well, there was some scenes, with a hand in a chest, and they just thought it was a little too much. And my father, because he doesn't care, was like, what are you talking about? Like, I was like, I'm trying to be like, Dad, I'm trying not to say it. He's like, oh, you mean when they rip the heart out? And I was like, oh, geez.
I don't know. That wasn't as bad as the freaking feast.
No,
Yeah, the feast was pretty bad too. And
no,
the
but
bugs.
no, but now I have to deal with the fact that he had nightmares the next 3
No,
days.
really?
Yes, because in his head he just saw it happen. He's very creative, and so he instantly had a visual picture of a man ripping a heart out of a chest.
Dude, that was one of the movies that was in my rotation as a kid. That Lone Wolf McQuade and Black Rain.
Well, it helped that HBO played Temple of Doom every 4 hours for a year.
The only thing that I remember scaring me as a kid, there's two. One was the bird inside of the fortune cookie. The baby,
Oh, yeah.
the dying baby bird.
Yeah,
inside.
that was creepy as fuck.
Stuck with me. The other thing was Erie, Indiana. There was an episode where one of their friends got a retainer, but the one that goes all around his head, and he could hear dogs' thoughts, and they were going to take over the world. And I don't know why it freaked me out, but I wouldn't even go around my own dog for a month.
Okay, I don't know. No, I can't be with you on that one.
Did you see the episode of Erie, Indiana?
I think so. I watched a lot of that, but I don't remember that being something that I was scared of.
Well, you guys are a lot older than me, though.
Yeah, I probably saw it when I was older.
Yeah. You saw it in your
Erie,
20s.
Indiana?
I was like,
I mean,
Erie, Indiana, I
I've told
saw
you
when I
guys
was
the ridiculous
12.
one that scares the hell out of me, and that's the trucker lady from Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Large Marge sent you.
Because she was terrifying.
parents really didn't care for us very much, did they? They just let us watch whatever.
No, I mean, let's see. I think I've told this before. I would have been around 4. We were living on base in Japan, and when you're on base, they just play movies in rotation, whatever they can
Mhm.
get. And so they had, even though this was 1985, they had Conan the Barbarian. So we go see this movie, and my mom's like, so this is the first Conan. She's completely hardcore. When boobs come on the screen, she's like, put your hands over your eyes.
Yep.
You're not seeing this. But when we get to the part where he's hacking heads off and doing all this stuff, she's like, isn't this great?
Right. Same here. It was a weird time where don't see a boob, but you can see all the violence. I remember my dad covered up my eyes when we were watching Tombstone, and there was a naked woman painted on the wall behind him.
You brought up just one of the guys. If I had been caught watching that one, I would have gotten so much more trouble than seeing any of this graphic violence and murder. but by the way, and that girl had a really nice set. That was a great movie to see that.
Yes,
that was that was the early, before the internet. You're always waiting to see when that was coming on Cinemax or HBO.
That VHS tape wore the fuck out.
Yeah.
No, but I
it's-
told you I've told you about the Jerry Maguire VHS I had where they edited in Looney Tunes during the sex scene, and I didn't even know
Yeah.
that was in the movie until I was in
You
my
had the
20s.
Christian edited. This is the safe one
So
because
much
we like
effort to
this
do
movie
it.
because he gets married.
Yeah, and he's nice to the black guy. I'm from East Texas.
Yeah, Eric, grandparents are both the best and the worst. It's an interesting like combination where I have to, and it's just like, yeah, what am I gonna do?
Nah,
It's,
I'm gonna go with just the best. They're the best.
I mean,
When they're
he's like,
alive,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't have any left.
not me either.
yeah, I don't
Neither
have
do
any
I
of
at
my
this
own
point.
grandparents. It's all I've got left is my dad, and
My
he's the
grandmother,
grandfather.
we watched Grumpy
Grandparents
Old
play
Man and
that
Grumpy
critical
Old Man.
role of like, you are babying your child too much. Don't worry, I'll toughen him up with some exposure therapy.
Yeah, he goes over to hang out with his pop, and so I'll come over and I'm like, "What are we doing?" And he's like, "We're going through the Mission Impossible movies."
No.
I was like, he's like, "Okay," and my son loves them. He was like, and he's like, "Fallout's my favorite," and I was like, "It is a good one, isn't it?"
Yeah, it's probably the
It's
yeah.
probably the best.
I have
And then he
a-
says, like, Mission Impossible 2 wasn't that good. I didn't like it. And I was like,
what?
yeah, it was a little too John Woo for me.
Did
for the
did he
Mission
not hear
Impossible
Limp
series.
Bizkit?
Yeah. Like the greatest fucking music ever in the history of the mankind's ability to hear things.
Which is provable because you can go to my channel and see the video where that claim is made. And I also claimed that the music video for that song was the second best.
Now, is that
Mission
your new
Impossible
channel
movie.
or is that your dead name channel?
Anyway, so I was gonna say that I have I have a soft spot for the third one because of Philip Seymour Hoffman. I thought he was such a
I
great
loved
villain
this
in it.
villain because he's exactly because he was supposed to be like this arms dealer. I don't picture an arms dealer being like some evil hulking guy. I want him to
Right.
sort of look like an accountant.
Yeah,
Because that's what, but he's just an accountant who's willing to have people killed and do the worst things. Like that's who it is. Like if this guy could easily be running Enron or any giant mega corporation, he's just making his money with guns and evil explosive devices. And when Carrie was it Carrie Russell in the first like 10 minutes has that where she gets rescued,
Oh
and you're
my
like,
God.
and they had sold the ad campaign that she was because she was part, like coming off Felicity and was going to be the like nice young up and coming actress, and they just blew her like brain with that little
that
and,
eye.
and the eye like filling in and being dead. It was like, oh,
But and also going sideways too, though. It gets like it to the right or some shit. It was freaky.
yeah. Lord of War. I actually really like Lord of War.
Yeah,
I like that one.
Jared
I
Leto's
like
in that too.
he does. Yeah, he plays Nick Cage's brother. The best part of Lord of War is the very end when Ethan Hawke as this FBI agent who's been pursuing him for this whole movie finally gets him and he's been arrested. His life's falling apart. And Nick Cage, because this is another thing where you're just like, I feel like this is exactly how it would happen in real life. He just looks at him and said, "Good job. I'm going to be out of here in 10 minutes." And he's like, "What are you talking about? Someone's going to come in, knock on that door, and tell you that you did a great job. You'll get a commendation, and then they're going to let me go because sometimes the U.S. government wants things to go to people that they're not supposed to deal with. And who do you think has to do that for them?"
Yep. And Jared Leto came in and said, "It's morphin' time."
Yeah, that's part 2. Nick
Did y'all
Cage.
see
Oh
the-
yeah, Spider-Man Noir.
Yeah.
I didn't actually see it. Had stuff leaked
From what?
from they're doing a show of it.
Oh, are they? Oh, I haven't seen any of it.
Let's see.
I'm hearing of it.
Oh, open. All right. So yeah, this is the leak. Let's show. This is allegedly the live action Spider-Man
Oh, yeah, that is
Noir
Nick
outfit.
Cage, huh?
I think that's the thing. He's gonna do it, but he's gonna stay. Nick Cage is the kind of guy. He's like the opposite of Pedro Pascal, who's like, "Get me out of the mask."
Yeah.
Nick Cage is like, "Keep me in the mask." I want to do this. don't take my face off.
You know, I've heard him talk about his acting style or whatever, and he does it. He'll do it differently, and it's based on music. So when he did The Rock, he based it on like the rhythm of the Beatles in their music, and that's how he would act. And I remember sitting there like, that makes zero sense, bro. Like, I don't. What are you telling me? That's what really said. The whole Beatle thing in The Rock. That's all because of that. That's what he was using as his template for the way he delivered lines.
I guess this is a set photo of him. I guess they're committing to the period piece, like it's gonna be in the 1930s, where he's just like a pulp style detective.
That's gonna be a tough one if not for it to come off hokey or corny.
Or like a ripoff of Alec Baldwin's Shadow, or
Oh yeah,
which is probably in the early 90s they had that run where they were kept remaking pulp character movies.
from old radio shows, The Phantom.
The Phantom, which is the longest running comic strip in the world, it's been continuously in print since the 1920s.
Billy Zane knocked it out of the park.
I actually really like that movie. I enjoyed it. I saw it as around a 12, 13-year-old. Catherine Zeta-Jones was super hot. That was the first time I remember knowing who she was. I was like, who is this? I was like, forget Christy Swanson. Go with the bad pilot girl. That's the one that you want to hang out with.
So
And
with the Shadow though, you know the dagger in that is the same dagger in Golden Child, the Eddie Murphy movie.
give me the knife.
Oh,
Do you
I
remember
just
that?
watched that recently, actually.
Golden Child was great.
look who climbed down from his castle to be with us.
Yes, Kingmaker.
Phantom with Billy Zane was kind of like basically broke even at best. It didn't cost too much. It didn't make much.
Mm-mm.
None of those movies actually did well.
Nope.
Rocketeer didn't.
No.
Shadow didn't. The Phantom didn't.
What was the one with Liam Neeson?
Green Hornet.
The Green Hornet, that was later.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bit later.
What was the Liam Neeson one he did at the same time? Darkman, right?
Darkman.
Darkman. That one wasn't really based on one of those. It was
Yeah,
that
but
was
it
a
was still in
Sam.
that.
That was
It's in
Sam
the
Raimi
vein
just
of-
like going all like weird.
Darkman was fucking weird.
Billy Zane, by the
They're
way.
on
his
like a spaceship, right? Like they're on a
No.
alien
No.
spaceship.
Uh-uh.
No.
No.
Darkman
What am I
is
thinking of?
so Darkman, Liam Neeson plays a scientist who is in a lab explosion and gets burned over like 99% of his body, and it destroys his nerve endings so he doesn't feel any pain. And as a result, he has basically super strength because he'll rip all his muscles up doing whatever because he feels no.
You know, just
Okay.
like
That's not-
Madman.
Yeah, well, that's not how that works. At most, it would just feel weird in the shower, like with me.
I'm just going over what the plot was. Yeah, it's definitely not realistic.
Are you thinking
But
Dark City, Slender?
Dark
That's
City.
what-
That's
that's
what
what-
I'm
yeah.
thinking of.
Then that movie
Oh,
was
one of the
weird, but it
greatest
was
movies
good.
ever.
What?
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, Dick Tracy was
Yeah.
probably the
Weird.
most commercially successful of all those.
Dustin
ones.
Hoffman
Yeah.
was amazing in it.
Mumbles.
Where it was Mumbles.
Yep.
Big morning. Big morning. And then they slow it down. Big boy
did
did
you
it.
How have you seen that and not Secret of the Ooze?
Yeah, that makes no
Because I didn't
sense.
care about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But everybody saw Dick
Dang.
Tracy.
You've
Okay,
never been
all right,
fun,
number
have you?
one,
Not even
more
as a
people
kid.
saw the Ninja Turtles than saw Dick Tracy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Of a certain
Ninja
age group.
Turtles, no, of all age groups. Just-
Bro,
Yeah.
you've been 50 since you were 7.
Yeah.
Brahma was walking home from elementary school with some friends. They're like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I got to go pick up a couple packs."
Oh,
Yeah.
it's tax season, you know. I gotta go turn in my W-2 and shit.
Yeah,
Gotta study the
Hollywood.
insurance laws for our county.
The
Yeah,
stupid crap having to go to school instead of being able to listen to Rush Limbaugh live. Got to listen to the replay.
Ninja rap. You ever
Hollywood
seen a turtle get down?
Yeah, Hollywood went for those because they were cheap. There was no real rights they had to pay for. They were like nothing to get those things. Although Rocketeer wasn't an actual one. That was a comic book from like the 80s. so it was basically a new comic book made in the style of a pulp one, but the rights were still dirt cheap, so Disney picked them up, made that movie.
Jennifer
Which is
Connelly.
And well, yeah, Jennifer Connelly was great, and it's got one of the best lines. It was Paul Sorvino. He's like, I might be a crook, but I'm 100% American crook.
Yeah.
Turns on the Nazi guys.
Did you ever see the something Brave with Jennifer Connelly and Thanos, where he was it was a true story. They were firefighters, but like the wildfire firefighters,
Yeah.
they got to go out there.
Yeah,
That
Or
movie
they're
was-
the jumpers.
yeah. No, they don't ever jump.
Or no, they the one where what happens at the end with
Yeah.
everybody? Yeah.
That movie is amazing. It is so good.
Yeah.
Blank Man
Man.
legit.
I like Blankman. Slap me and call me Susie.
When
Okay.
he brings what's her name to his Blank Man cave or whatever,
Lair. Blank
and
Lair
she
or
touches
whatever.
him and he comes in his pants, it is the funniest thing I've ever seen. It holds up too. I mean, it was great. I need to rewatch Meteor Man to see if that one holds up.
It does. It's still good. I like Meteor Man. I went and saw that in the theater, and I don't regret it. It was like 1994. That 94 might be one of the greatest movie years of all time. And Forrest Gump came out that year. What was it?
You know, I've done this a few times on streams where I'll take a year from the 90s and compare it to modern year, whatever, like, 1996 compared to 2016 or 2006. You know what I mean? See how many great movies,
See
like
how bad it's gotten.
classics. Yeah. The amount of movies that people still that are still relevant is bananas.
Here we go. This is 1994 movies made like in-year releases. All right. So this is the movies that came out. What made the most money in 1994? That was actually released in 1994. We've got Forrest Gump, which people still quote, still talk about. Lion
One of the
King,
greatest
which
villains in any movie.
Lion King is so
Gen A.
successful that Disney is making a sequel to its live action animated spin-off already. True Lies, which is one of the
Legit.
best action comedy movies ever
I
made.
really
Santa
like
Claus.
Eyes. That's one of my favorites.
Santa Claus is so successful. It's the only show on Disney Plus that's gotten multiple seasons because people liked it so much. It's still going out. I actually thought the Flintstones live action was
Yeah.
pretty good.
Halle Berry was in it.
I'm a fan of Elizabeth Perkins.
Yeah. Dumb and Dumber still obviously it's meme magic still to this day. So you're saying there's a chance. Probably Jim Carrey. I think the most fun to keep watching. Like it's got the most rewatchability for me of his.
It's
like,
too slapstick
era.
for me. It's too big for me now.
Yeah, the whole part where like he puts laxatives in the other guy's coffee or whatever. I'm just like this. Okay, and now we have to see the results of that. Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clear and Present Danger, which was a great Jack Ryan movie with Harrison
Yeah.
Ford.
Clancy movies.
Before
Are
I've
always good.
rewatched all of the Jack Ryan movies, and all of them hold up. In fact, Some of All Fears is really good. The weak spot though is Jack Ryan in it, which kind of, you know what I mean?
Ben
like he's the
Affleck.
worst part of the movie, but if outside of him, it's really
I
good.
loved Liev Schreiber as
Absolutely.
Yeah.
as what's his name? The one he's the character that Willem Dafoe played in Clear and Present Danger.
He does all the wet work.
Yeah,
Yep,
and he's I think his movie was Without Remorse. I think Michael B. Jordan got recast as him. I forget
That
what his
movie
character
wasn't
name
good.
was.
I don't remember the character name, and I've read the books.
But he was the one, like you said, he was the guy who was brought in because his backstory was that his family was murdered by like a cartel. And so he was just okay with killing anybody who did anything wrong. And then
guys saw
eventually, oh, good.
No, I was gonna say you guys did watch the series, right, on Amazon with
With
Krasinski.
Krasinski, yeah.
It's not really
all right.
Jack Ryan, but it's
well, the
good.
first season was
It's
really good.
watchable.
First season was good. Second was a dip. I don't remember anything with the third.
I also didn't mind the one with Chris Pine when they rebooted
I didn't
it.
either. I rewatched that too. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I thought Costner was a good like gateway character to the
Yeah.
CIA for him.
Yeah.
It was, and plus the actual backstory for Jack Ryan, where he's mainly an analyst who gets caught up in these things.
Yep.
Is good. Speed, obviously, Speed is a classic. We still talk and watch.
I
Yeah,
don't know. I don't know if Dumb and Dumber is stronger than Ace Ventura, but Ace Ventura is also very slapstick. I actually
Yeah,
like
actually,
Liar Liar.
you know what? I take it back. The Mask might be another one that I would probably put The Mask above Dumb and Dumber, and that came out the same year.
I wouldn't be able to do
I'd
that.
put Liar Liar probably at the top, or maybe Yes Man.
Yeah, but Yes Man came out like 20 years later.
Yeah.
I'm talking like this is early Carrie.
I
You know,
mean,
you're
20. Carrie has been Carrie his whole fucking life.
True. To be honest, I don't even find Fire Marshal Bill to be funny anymore.
I've never found Jim Carrey to be funny.
the one that I think is funny now in the context of 2024 is the female bodybuilder character he played.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was funny.
When every time they like do the clips of like when they were doing like movies and they would rip the bikini top off, and he'd be like, "Oh no, you exposed me." It's like, there's nothing there.
Pulp Fiction. Chad
Pulp Fiction.
made a Pulp Fiction reference today, so it's
Yeah,
still
it was,
relevant.
it was a great reference too because
Didn't get it,
Culture
though.
was trying to buy him off, and and I made the joke. I was like, "Don't let pride get to you." It's like pride's just effing with you. Nothing good comes from pride. And Mad's like, "What is that from?" I was like, "Pulp
Man.
Fiction."
He had, I don't know, Brahma may know this, but that dude, he brought probably a dozen different glasses with him because he has to wear different glasses depending on what he's looking at. And I kept fucking with him the whole
He's
time.
got his reading glasses, his things up close glasses, his
Yeah.
things far away glasses.
I messed with him so much, bud.
His it's getting late and it's kind of dark glasses. His it's too bright in here glasses.
100%, bro. And we're eating at the hotel, and the waitress comes over and has the size of like a square, and it has a Q code on it that you have to bring up the the
menu.
menu. I'm like, oh no, Culture. I'm gonna have to read it to you.
How old is Culture? Culture taught Father Time everything the man knows.
He's at least
Culture,
92.
I think he's 53.
I like how Brahma's just coming in with like, "Here's his actual age." I'm not going to play
Lame.
into the
It
joke.
ages him enough.
Lame.
It's like, oh, I think he's 53. We're making the jokes like, how old is he? He's so old. You know, like Brahma's
Dude.
like, he's so old. He was 1 year older than 52 now.
When
He's
I-
like,
53.
yeah, Moses, I'll take your fucking tablets on the ark. It's fine.
when I went to pick him up for the event, there was a ton of traffic.
Did you
in
go
front
to
of
an
his
early
hotel.
bird special dinner? Did he?
No,
want to go
no,
to-
it was lunch. It was lunch. And then I went home and he was getting ready stuff. And when I came back, there was a lot of traffic, right? And I'm getting ready to get to the entrance of the hotel, and there was this dude, this bearded guy with like cargo shorts and these ugly shoes. And I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna fuck with Culture and say I almost picked up the wrong homeless guy. And as I'm getting closer, and as this homeless man is walking towards my passenger door, I'm like, oh shit, that's the right homeless guy? Because it was fucking Culture. I legit thought it was just some random hobo on the side of the street.
Hobo
He does
Gandalf
love his
strikes
cargo
again.
shorts.
He had some flame shirt on or whatever. I thought it was a homeless person.
All right,
Listen, cargo pants are the greatest creation in
Cargo
the history
shorts.
of clothing, but cargo shorts are the worst thing ever.
Here's all right. So here's a fun game we can like look at, and we're looking at these movies from 1994, and just look at how many of them are spawning new television shows and spin-offs now.
And
for
hold
us.
up.
Like we've got Interview with a Vampire. AMC is still making a spin-off of that.
That no one's watching.
Dude, aren't they
Oh,
trying
okay.
to make a new MacGyver?
They
did?
made one.
Yeah.
Stargate. They're coming. They apparently want to make another Stargate again.
Ooh, Stargate SG-12.
Yeah.
Legends of the Fall is a phenomenal movie.
This one is out of this whole list. This might be my
Legends of
personal
the Fall
favorite.
will make you gay.
Maverick, I actually would probably has the most rewatchability for me. I love that movie
Yeah,
so much.
well, I watched it about a year ago. You got Mel Gibson. You have James Garner in it. The
I
lesbian
actually
chick from
watched Maverick
Contract.
about a year ago too.
Jodie Foster when she
Yep.
was still attractive.
Was she?
She had a moment.
You must be wearing the wrong culture glasses.
She looked good in that movie.
She was a horrible person in that movie.
But that's what the character she was playing.
She's a big defender
but-
of Mel Gibson, though.
Yeah, she's best friends with Mel Gibson. I just sent Brahma a clip for our show Sunday with Mel Gibson yesterday.
The IQ of a fence post.
Yeah, he was talking Kamala.
Yep.
He's like, I think you know who I'm voting for. It's just like,
Did y'all see Wolf? Is that the Jack Nicholson Wolf?
oh yes, that is.
Probably.
That's the one where he like pisses on James Spader's leg.
And Disclosure was the Michael Crichton
Yep.
book. Had Demi Moore in it, I believe.
And Michael
Douglas
was the male lead.
And in Wolf, didn't Jack Nicholson go up to Michelle Pfeiffer and just took a big whiff of her crotch?
I believe there was moments like that.
Yeah, I watched that as a kid.
The Client is kind of forgotten, but that was a pretty good movie. That was when John Grisham was having the moment where everything he wrote was getting adapted into
Rainmaker was
movies.
another one.
It was one of the last ones, but the first one was The Firm with Tom Cruise. Then we got The Client. There was also A Time to Kill, which launched Matthew McConaughey's career.
Yes, I think they deserve to die. I
hope
hope they burn in hell. Matthew McConaughey was in that.
He was the lawyer. He was the lead.
The Specialist sucked. I remember that one.
That was the one with
Sylvester
Stallone and Sharon Stone.
Yeah.
But all right, Generations kind of sucked. But Naked Gun.
The Little Rascals, dude.
The original Crow, Natural Born Killers, Angels in the Outfield, which is still all right. If you want a good movie to watch with your family, a young family, that movie still is wholesome and holds up and is fun to watch. And you'd be amazed how many people you'll start notice was it Matthew McConaughey was in that one, and you're just like, oh, he was playing the dumb outfield. It's like, oh yeah.
Was the catcher from Major League in that one too, or no?
No, Tom Berenger wasn't. No. Let's see.
By the way, him and Billy Zane, Billy Zane's best movie was Sniper with Tom Berenger.
He took over for Berenger after like the second or third, and then they ended up doing a crossover one.
And then he came back, even though he didn't have his trigger finger anymore. I'm like, dude, come on.
It was,
the Mighty Ducks too.
The Mighty D2, the Mighty Ducks, Time Cop.
Oh yeah, dude,
that's like Jean-Claude's. That might be Jean-Claude's most coherent and together movie. Like I enjoy like some of the other ones, like Kickboxer, but Time Cop actually seems like was the most professionally made movie that was in.
What about The Quest? He directed that one.
Yeah.
By the way, The River Wild wasn't bad either. That had Kevin Bacon was the bad guy, right?
Yeah, he was the bad. That was when he was trying to make his comeback because he had kind of fallen off. And what's her name? Meryl Streep was like, I can be an action star.
She couldn't.
No. But like, look, we're now into the bottom, like into 30, and these are still movies we watch.
Steven Seagal on the Deadly Ground.
Yeah. Richie Rich with Matthew.
Nicolas Cage. It could have
Macaulay Culkin.
Yep. That one's good with
Junior.
Did you see what's happened to do you remember Bridget Fonda and how hot she was?
Yeah.
Have you seen her lately?
No.
Didn't hold up.
I'm gonna bring an image up because
man, Street Fighter, the best video game movie, I think, ever.
All right,
Mortal Kombat's a close second, but Street Fighter.
I was gonna say I'm gonna vote Mortal Kombat.
Are you ready for a brief interlude of what happened to Bridget Fonda?
Sure. I don't think that I am, considering you're setting this up like it's gonna be a bad thing.
Oh, what?
Yeah, that is someone who their youth, they enjoyed it while they had it, and now they're enjoying a lot of cookies.
What was that movie? She was assassin. Point of No Return.
Point of No Return, which is the American La Femme Nikita.
Yep.
That's actually the pictures on the left.
Yeah.
The picture is
happy. It's fine.
I think the picture in the middle is from like 2 Days in the Valley or one of those movies. I think she was in.
I mean, the unfortunate fact of the matter is a lot of them, like once they're they're not pretty anymore, their career's kind of over. Because it's not like they were good actors.
Well, yeah, because
You
they're
mean like the chick from Top Gun?
Yeah.
She's married to Danny Elfman too. So
what?
yeah,
By the way,
I mean,
it
she is
wasn't as
60
if she
years
was-
old, so it's not like she's
Well, to be fair,
young,
she wasn't
but-
attractive when Top Gun came out, anyways.
That's true.
She only got it because she was banging a director.
Wait, are we talking about Kelly McGillis now?
She was
Remember the-
mentioned, and Mad ran with it.
Oh, okay, I was
Yeah,
like,
I thought you were saying she was married to Danny Elfman.
she is married to Danny Elfman.
Yeah, I didn't think she was attractive in Top Gun.
Now
There
I'm
were
confused.
there were many hotter actresses than her for Top Gun.
Hold on.
You guys always make Chad so angry when you're like, that girl wasn't hot.
No, I'm trying to figure out how we got to me saying she was married to Danny Elfman, who was the musical composer from like Batman. He was in Oingo Boingo.
I
To
think
Wasn't he also the musical composer in Nightmare Before Christmas?
Yeah, he does
Yeah.
everything with Tim Burton.
he does all the
Yeah.
Tim Burton stuff.
That's some good shit.
So how did that turn into Kelly McGillis?
Because before
'cause
you
she's
got
not
to
hot.
that point, you had mentioned somebody had mentioned, look, once the women lose their looks, they don't get any parts anymore. And I
Right,
said,
and somebody brought her
like
up.
the chick from Top Gun, she
Right.
missed out on Maverick because she looks horrible now.
And I said I didn't think she was attractive in Top Gun to begin
I
with.
mean, we're
And I
talking
said,
about
I agree.
yeah, you know Kelly McGillis wasn't attractive because they're like, we need someone who can be Amish hot. Who in Hollywood do we have who can play Amish hot?
You know what they
Kelly
should have started with?
McGillis.
We need someone that won't make Tom have to stand on a box every time they're in a scene together. That's what they should have started with.
No,
Well,
I mean,
that's.
you know how
Pretty
I've
sure
said this
that he is
before.
the reason that they created forced perspective.
What I'm saying? No, there's a lot of short people in Hollywood, so they've used it. For
You
a
think
long
Peter
time.
Jackson went to Tom Cruise like, so how did you do it?
We were working with Warner Brothers at the time, so they loaned us out Tom Cruise's blocker,
His height crew.
his blocker, the guy who sets up the shots, and he really
Little
helped
did
us
you
get the
guys know,
hobbits.
For that whole movie, I was wearing drywall stilts.
But
Let's
yeah,
go back to
so
that list.
yeah, I'm gonna. All right, so but that was our detour to when I saw that picture, I was like, oh my god, what happened to Bridget Fonda?
As long as she's happy, it's fine.
I mean,
it could happen. Yeah,
Well,
she was
and
in.
her blood pressure is good as long as she's happy and her blood pressure is good.
You know,
All right,
close
there's
to
the
mine, 'cause mine's
shadow.
perfect.
We were talking about that one actually because that was one of the pulp
Mhm.
ones, so that came out. I Love Trouble was a Julia Roberts and Nick Nolte movie that didn't really do
Yeah.
much.
Blank
Major
Check.
League 2 is good, aside from how they
Blank
randomly
Check was cute.
they
Blown
randomly
Away is a great movie.
yeah. What's
And
interesting about Blank Check is that the female FBI agent basically says, "I'm going to come back and bang you once you're legal."
Yeah,
At
they
the
kiss,
end-
right? I was about to ask,
Yeah.
don't they make out?
Yeah, they basically make out, and
Hmm.
she says, "When you're old enough, come see me."
You want to talk about inspirational as a young dude? Between that-
kid learned very young that it's all about how much money you have.
Well, no, because then Sandlot's like, hey, if you don't have money, you trick them into kissing you.
Yeah.
Sandlot's like, if
Yeah,
you're
just pretend
genuine,
like you're drowned.
it's like he was it. The line is like he kissed her long and good. This is like
That's a great movie, too.
Squints walked a little taller that day.
We're almost at 50, and In the Army Now has some of the most accurate depiction of what basic training is like in the Army. No bullshit.
Just got that one guy, right?
Pauly
In the
Shore.
Army Now is Pauly Shore.
Pauly
yeah.
Shore.
Holly
Yeah.
Shore. Yeah, I hate him.
Drop Zone, which was
Wesley Snipes movie.
which was funny because it came out I think
Oh,
around the
dude.
same time as
Virtual Veracity.
the Terminal Velocity with
Terminal
Charlie Sheen.
Velocity. That's the
It was
one.
like
yeah.
why Hollywood decided we needed 2 skydiving movies. I
Yeah,
think it was after Point Break, so they were probably like skydiving's in.
Extreme
Oh.
sports. Yeah.
Dude,
Shawshank
Shawshank
Redemption,
Redemption is one of the greatest movies ever made.
classic.
Wyatt
Uh,
Earp. The
It came out at like this is the It came out after Tombstone. You're a
Yeah,
piece of
I felt
shit.
so bad for Dennis Quaid trying to play fucking Doc Holliday after.
Yeah, this is
Val.
94. I think Tombstone must have come out 93, and it just trounced it.
Yeah,
thought there
it
was
came out
Arrow
the
had
same
that
year as Mighty
French
Ducks
guy.
1.
Yeah,
Renaissance
Man was
is
good. Yeah. Now that one
Did
is a
like
nice.
Renaissance Man.
If you want something that actually does give you some genuine, like, even though it's a movie about it, it does have some real moments about what it's like on a base where you
Bro,
gotta
I
learn-
wasn't bullshitting about In the Army
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah. Where you got to learn the anacronyms. If you don't speak the anacronyms, you're going to get lost and you're not going to know
Just
what you're doing.
acronyms, not anacronyms.
Acronyms. You
No,
know,
for real. In the Army Now, I think they did it at Fort Sill, but it was as if they just attached them to a cycle that was going through it. It was legit, dude. Now,
So
once they left that, it's a whole different movie.
Yeah, Davina, they say Walt Disney Pictures now, but most of these movies were released under their Touchstone brand back then.
Mm-hmm.
Disney
Yep.
didn't have an issue letting Touchstone make movies that was, Renaissance Man wasn't for kids.
No, Blue
None
Chips.
of like Blue Chips was not for kids. Blue Chips is great.
Yeah, Shaquille O'Neal and Nick Nolte.
Up until like they paid players, which was the fairly recent. When did that, like 3-4 years ago?
Like
when they
6 months ago.
started paying college players. Blue Chips was the best. Like, people are like, how do you want to know how college sports actually works? Go watch Blue Chips.
Yep.
This is what it's like. All of a sudden, duffel bags of money will show up at an athlete's house.
The air up there was with Kevin Bacon, where he went to Africa to
And
recruit a guy.
recruited like who was the guy who played it in the movie? It was an actual basketball player.
Can't remember, but it's funny
Was
because
it
now
Dikembe Mutombo?
no,
No,
Wasn't
it
him.
was, but it was another 7-footer or something.
now that
He died just a little bit ago.
I remember the air up there. I'm like, oh shit, that Adam Sandler movie that he did was amazing on Netflix, where he's a recruiter for
The
NBA team.
76ers, right? I think it
Yeah,
was.
yeah. It's a lot like the air up there, except he went to get the white kid from whatever Soviet country he was in.
Well, yeah, we've adopted in the 90s. It was going to Africa.
Yep.
In the 2020s, it's like Eastern
get that
European
Luka.
3-point shooters. We need guys who can hit that jumper. Let's see. Iron Will was kind of a White Fang,
Yeah,
you know,
well,
sled
yeah,
dog,
kinda,
dog
yeah.
sled racing kind of thing.
The Cowboy Way was great.
Everybody remember? Yeah, that was the one with Kiefer Sutherland
And Woody Harrelson.
and Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
When they go to New York.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
That is-
and doesn't he dance to a Whitney Houston song in that one?
I think he does.
Queen of the Night?
Yep. We got Leon the Professional. You know,
Fucking
which
8
is still-
seconds. Let's okay, boys. 8
which
seconds, dude.
we got 8 seconds. That was Luke Perry, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that when he was
and one of the bald
and
ones, the
Billy
from Biodome. No, from Biodome.
Steven.
Yeah, he was in it too.
Little
played Tough.
Giants, which is a fun family
Great movie.
movie. You know, we got where John Madden randomly shows up with Emmett Smith and everyone else. It's good.
Yep. What is it? The what's the play?
Yeah, the annexation of Puerto Rico.
That's the one. Milk Money.
Milk
Dude, that
Money.
movie, I remember seeing that movie. Another movie encouraging me, inspirational.
Yeah, that's like there's a couple movies on here that were teaching us important life lessons about
Right?
what women really wanted, and
Well,
it was apparently money.
And how to see boobs. You and your friends get all your milk money together. You go to a city and you pay some chick to
If you-
flash
all
You
right,
hire
so-
a prostitute.
Hold on, let's also debate. Let's get into the weeds about how this movie was basically telegraphing an entire
Oh
genre
my God, you're right.
of adult entertainment, which is the stepmom scenario.
Because she becomes his stepmom.
Because she becomes his stepmom.
But it's cool because he closed his eyes when she flashed all of his friends. That won't come up again.
I'm sure he won't feel like he missed out and have like any kind of encounter once she gets stuck in a dryer.
Watching the movie, I felt like we missed out.
With she had shown her boobs. Working Girls. They were out in Working Girls.
Yeah,
Who
but
was it?
not in this.
Who was in Milk Money? I can't remember who the chick was.
It was Melanie Griffith.
Melanie
Oh,
Griffith.
that's right.
It was the Dakota Johnson's mother. So
Man, Lightning Jack wasn't bad either. That was
that was Cuba Gooding Jr. and
he was a mute death.
Crocodile
wasn't
Dundee.
Yep.
that was a good one.
There's Terminal
there's
Velocity as
Terminal
well.
Velocity. Yeah, there's the other skydiving movie.
I wish we would have kept count of how many memorable movies we've
Oh,
seen.
Above the
Above
Rim.
the Rim, yeah. No Escape with what's his name from Goodfellas? He died recently. Have you seen
Ray Liotta?
Goodfellas?
That died recently.
Oh yeah, Ray Liotta.
No,
Ray Liotta,
yeah.
yeah. No Escape. It's a prison. It's an island prison, like in the future or whatever, and he gets sent there and tries to escape. It's pretty good.
But there is no escape.
I like the Ice-T movie, Surviving the Game or whatever. I like that one better though.
Oh, Little Big League.
Little Big League.
That was a good movie, where the 12-year-old becomes the owner of the Minnesota Twins.
Ooh, the
makes
Pacemaker,
himself
the
a major.
original Harry Potter.
Yeah, which the character design is really close. The Ref, that was a great Dennis Leary.
Billy Crystal.
I
Or was
remember
it
Cops
Leary?
and Robertsons. Yeah, it was Dennis
No.
Leary.
No,
Wait.
Billy Crystal playing a referee was Forget Paris.
Okay.
This one is where he's the criminal who's trying to get out. He ends up holding
During
Kevin
Christmas, wasn't it?
Spacey and his wife and their family hostage during Christmas.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
when
yeah.
family comes over, he pretends to be their marriage counselor, so
Yeah.
that they don't. It's pretty funny. It still holds up actually pretty good.
Camp Nowhere.
Camp Nowhere. There it is. That's
Another
still,
inspirational movie. Man,
Oh.
they don't make movies like that for
Martin Lawrence. You're so
preteens.
crazy. That I remember laughing my ass off watching that. That is his.
Camp Nowhere isn't as good as what's the Fat Camp one? Heavyweights.
Oh,
It's not as good as that
Heavyweights.
one.
Where Ben Stiller was basically playing his dodgeball character.
Yeah, that's where how he was workshopping it.
They made a Lassie movie?
They did.
I remember
This is there you
Weird.
go. The next Karate Kid with
Hilary Swank.
Oscar winner Hilary
That's the one with
Swank.
the girl?
Yep. I'm still
Mhm.
waiting.
I didn't mind that one.
I'm still anticipating her showing up in the second half of Cobra Kai's finale season somehow.
Comes out on the 15th, I think.
Ooh, the Puppet Masters.
Oh, there it is.
Blank Man. We're
With
at
a
118 and we're finding good
7.9
movies.
million. Serial Mom.
Surviving
Hoop
the Game.
Dreams. There's Hoop Dreams.
They're surviving the game at 123. Trial by jury. Wait, damn, I was thinking Jury Duty.
I'm trying to Trapped in Paradise, which was Nick Cage.
I don't
Ed
remember
Wood.
Ed Wood. Fucking
remember
Airheads,
Ed.
dude.
Oh my god.
Lone Rangers.
Dude, Airheads needs to be higher on this list.
Airheads only made $5 million.
That's
Wagon
a
East
travesty.
wasn't bad either.
Airheads was great.
Wait, Wagons East, is that the one with Chris Farley?
John, it was John Candy's last movie.
Oh, that's the one. Okay. He did.
And
He did
Clean
the one.
Slate was Dana Carvey.
Chris Farley
Yeah.
did the one with homeboy from Friends. Chandler
Yeah,
from Friends.
that one was like where they were supposed to be Lewis and Clark,
No, they were racing Lewis and Clark.
racing Lewis and Clark.
Yeah.
And
It's so good.
I forget
guy
what that one was
loses his-
called.
Can't either. But he loses the ear and he's like, I'm doing an experiment. Billy, can you hear me? Yes, I can. This is fucking great. Cabin Boy.
Airheads is a cult film, and it's great. It deserved it. It was.
Yep,
Awesome.
Lone Rangers, good band.
I love the end of Airheads when they're playing the concert in the
In the
prison.
prison.
And
Yeah.
Steve
Oh, dude,
Buscemi is doing.
PCU predicted the future, didn't it?
Oh yeah, we have. There's I mean, PCU is probably the most accurate future predicting movie.
Yeah, if you haven't watched PCU, it's more relevant now than it was when they made the fucking movie.
The one you guys
is,
were thinking of was Almost Heroes.
Almost Heroes, that's it.
Yeah, Almost
It
Heroes
just
was
came
good.
to me. And had that one dude that was playing the French guy. She's my woman. I bought her.
It was.
He must be looking on
Cabin
it.
Boy was weird, but I kind of
Yeah.
liked Cabin Boy too.
These
Chad must be
pipes
on another
are
tab.
clean. Yeah, I am.
Dude,
Because I'm
I
looking at
love the
PCU.
part when he was losing his fucking mind because he was, dying, and the muffin or the cupcake came flying up, and he's like, "Now I know what you're thinking. What could be weirder than a big giant ass flying cupcake?
Yeah.
How about one that spits tobacco?" All right,
Man.
I'm out of here. Good cake.
All right, so I guess we're done at about what 1:45 is when it's kind of over. I wonder how long it would be if we did 2006 or 2016.
All right, real quick, just to remind you of how good PCU was at
It
predicting.
has Ari Gold in it, right? From
Yeah, he's the lead.
It's been
You-
so long. I didn't know that they had a the
An actual,
intersectional fucking.
Dude, the whole thing is the Oppression Olympics for those
Oh,
guys.
that's awesome.
Here, yeah, I've got, because I run a side channel where I put clips up on things, and so I put up PCU though. Level of insensitivity, I was annoyed, offended. The offense is deserving. I mean, this.
The level of insensitivity was unconscionable.
I don't want to see
This
any more
is-
clips because I want to watch it now.
I was going to say,
But-
these are forms that I bet exist now.
But look at the choices. There's no. It wasn't insensitive. It's either typical insensitivity, outrageous, or unconscionable.
Well, yeah, if
It's
you're gonna
the
fill out this
destruction
form,
of vegan protest. I remember that part.
I don't remember. I barely remember anything about it. I guess no Ari Gold was in it.
Way to ruin it, Brahma.
Yeah.
Great. Now I can't go back and watch it. Thanks, Brahma.
Yeah. We can't enjoy it anymore.
Nope, I'm just gonna be
It
sad.
did
the whole
ruin
time.
Archer.
No, what ruined Archer was when they killed him and they're like, "We'll do this all a dream thing for 5 seasons."
No, what ruined Archer was when a terrorist organization
Oh,
decided
that
to use the
didn't
name
help.
ISIS.
Yeah, that didn't help.
All right, this is the last one I'll play though. I know it's just so accurate. I think it should be required viewing for a lot of people now.
Oh,
And now we've gotten to the point where if you said buttload of trouble, you're probably in trouble with them.
true.
All right, so yeah,
Because
we
we
were
homophobic.
all right. Heavenly Creatures, that was a
Oh, I remember that being
Hudsucker
a,
proxy.
the Scout.
Bloodsucker Proxy was not bad.
The Scout had
Oh, wait,
the dude
there
from
you
the
go.
Mummy, right?
At 155 Clerks.
Clerks is a cult classic.
Oh
On
my
a
god.
budget of
Double Dragon.
$30,000.
Oh shit! Can't believe we're
The-
still going.
Double
The
Dragon
original.
was bad.
Oh
I'm sorry.
yeah, it was
Double
good. It was
Dragon was bad.
badass.
Leprechaun
No.
2, one of the times a sequel surpassed its original. All right, we're almost
feels
down
about
to
it, yeah.
200.
Spanking
Car
Monkey?
54. Where are you? I remember that one. A Million to One. I know that one too.
Yeah, so all right, so we were still
I would say 150.
around even
Yeah,
at like
you're solid right at 150.
Yeah.
Easy.
but like Hudsucker Proxy is a class, that's a Coen
So
Brothers
is Clerks.
movie. Clerks
Scout.
there. So we're talking like into the 150s, 160s. We were still getting movies that are all right. Now let's change
150
it.
is before we do though, what do you want to set the over under at? What number?
Of memorable
gonna try and
movies
guess the
or
spread?
good movies?
Yeah.
Which year are we jumping to?
You want to do 2006 or 2016?
Let's do all right. Let's do 20 years later. So 2014.
Oh, I'm sorry, 94. I was thinking 96. Yeah, so
Okay, so 2014,
2014.
2000 or 20 years later.
It-
I
it
don't
was-
think we even get to 50 before the movies drop
Really?
off.
Maybe the 70s or 80s.
well, now this is 2 years before TDS outbreak. So
Mm-hmm.
You're
But,
right.
but remember, Obama had been in office 6 years. They were already like,
yeah,
going
but it
for
was
it.
yeah, but it wasn't as all encompassing as what the TDS has been. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just going to guess around 80 still.
Yeah, I'll say
Just a guess.
80. I'll take the over at 80. I'm
All
okay
right.
with that, but
All
not
right.
by much.
all right, here we go. Switching over.
All right, American Sniper. Okay,
Great movie.
good start.
Oh, dude,
This-
this
look
number
at
8
the,
is
all
All right,
Maleficent.
this
I
did
win.
not age well.
Look at the difference in the grosses too.
Well, yeah.
I-
they-
None of the
I
ones from
don't pay
'94
attention.
even crossed 100 million. I don't think.
yeah, they also only cost like
Yeah.
a couple million to me.
And then, you know,
Yeah, we're not adjusting for inflation here.
Yeah.
That's too much work.
I mean, in the 90s, I can tell you, having worked in the theater, if a movie got to $100 million, they were ecstatic. It was guaranteed profit.
just looking at the top 8, this is very top heavy. Captain Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, Lego Movie.
All right, Winter Soldier is probably my favorite of the Marvel movie. Avengers, the first Avengers, and Winter Soldier are like 1A, 1B.
Civil War.
I really like Iron Man 3. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
me too. Yeah,
I
Shane
like
Black.
Iron Man 1 and Guardians.
All right, the Lego movie is completely forgettable.
What?
The
Everything
first,
is
like,
awesome, bro.
I don't think
Yeah,
you can say
everything
that.
is awesome. Everything is cool when you're
Yeah.
part of a team.
Man, Chad, that may be your worst take.
Aside from the song, do you remember
Yes.
anything about the movie?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, the fucking master builders and
Batman.
And
Oh, absolutely.
They
And
were
Chris Pratt was
Craggle,
great,
fucking
yeah.
Taco Tuesday, Will Ferrell,
And,
super gluing them fuckers because the kid kept playing with them wrong.
and by the way, I saw it as an adult with no kids around. It was just me watching it
Yeah.
and enjoyed it.
Oh, I had kids around, but I got forced to watch it over
you
and
made
over,
them
and over,
watch
and
it?
over and over.
And when I tried to move up and sit next to those kids, people acted weird.
No.
I
I watched it years later on TV one time.
Look how fast he shut that down. No.
No.
Days of
No,
Future
no.
Past. I mean,
that was probably the best.
One of the better X-Men.
yeah.
I will say I thought all the Hobbits.
I didn't watch
There's one good movie out of the 3 that they made. If they edited it down to
Yeah.
one well edited
Take the 3 and
single
make it one.
movie. Yeah, so I there's good parts in it, but it's overly stretched out.
Absolutely.
You know, just like Age of Extinction is a worthless Transformers
Horrible.
movie.
Dolphins, garbage.
Maleficent is basically the kickoff of Disney's like, let's make our villains a
No.
misunderstood, victimized woman. So no.
Never
Clue
saw
me in
Big
on what
Hero
this
6.
list is. List of what?
Releases in 2014.
Oh, right.
So we looked at
compare-
1994 and
Good
we're
evening.
comparing how many great
Yeah.
movies.
So-
Right.
So,
It's confusing the way they titled them. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Is that the James Franco? Is that the first one?
that's the very first
That's a
one. Yeah.
Franco.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I like that entire. series of movies.
Amazing Spider-Man 2 is not that great. They killed Gwen Stacy accurately.
By the way, so I saw it with the chick that I was dating, and I knew nothing about the Spider-Man comics and Gwen Stacy, whatever. And as a fight scene started happening, I'm like, "Hey, you know she's gonna die, right?" She's this girl's like, "What?" I had no clue she was gonna die. I felt so bad when she died.
I mean, all right. So if you're a comic book fan, there was everybody. I mean, all the comic book fans knew it was happening.
All the Spider-Man comic book fans, yes.
When she shows up and she's in that outfit, I could hear it because I wasn't the only one. I was like, "Oh shit!" Because you could see there was a bit out of my full theater because it was opening night. There was probably a quarter of us who probably knew, like they were telegraphing it by putting her in her Gwen Stacy's gonna die on the bridge outfit, and we were like, "Oh!" And the audience
Wait
was
a
like,
minute.
"What is going on?"
Chad, does that mean if she
Dude,
if she hadn't worn that she might have lived?
The movie probably wouldn't have killed her off yet.
Yeah. If she didn't wear that
You'd
outfit, she
think
would
when
have
she
lived.
read the tag and it said Gwen Stacy's gonna
Oh,
die outfit, she'd be like, not wearing that.
Exactly. It's a
Seven-
giveaway. It's a dead giveaway.
For the record, I
70's
think
getting a little robotic. Is your internet doing? that?
it was fine on my end.
Yeah, sounded fine to me too.
Oh,
too.
okay.
Sounds all right
Maybe
to
it's
me.
my internet hosting.
I'll
So,
say this, and Andrew Garfield is my favorite Spider-Man, and I think him and whatever the hell her name is, I can't think of it, to play Gwen Stacy.
Emma Stone.
Emma Stone, they were fucking great together, probably
Dude.
because they were banging in real life. but
Frodo's
they-
always gonna be my favorite Spider-Man.
Do
but
you like how
were
they
great
cast the
together.
redhead to play the blonde and the blonde to play the redhead?
Yeah, made
Yeah,
sense.
it's
And they
called
did it again
diversity.
because they did it twice because they got the first Gwen Stacy in Spider-Man 3 was from Jurassic World, the
What's his face's daughter?
Howard, Bryce Dallas Howard, and
Bryce
they
Dallas
had her
Howard, yeah.
and they had her playing Gwen Stacy, and then they
Nicholas
got Emma Stone
Hammond
to
is the
play.
best Spidey. Nicholas
This is
Hammond.
the
No one fights
um,
those samurai guys with netting that shoots out of his web shooters better than Nicholas Hammond.
That's right.
So this Godzilla is the Quicksilver.
Yeah, Aaron
Wanda,
Taylor Johnson with
Scarlet Witch. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they just disappeared from that franchise completely, which was
But
interesting.
I really like that movie. Godzilla is underrated, man. It's good.
I
Before
liked
they
how
go, we're gonna go bananas.
Yeah, because this was the take where it was the perspective of boots on the ground, like
Yep.
dealing with Godzilla. Aaron Taylor Johnson was a soldier coming off a Middle
Mhm.
East tour,
Yep.
trying
He
to get
married his
home,
sister. Yeah.
and yeah, and which is true for comic books because Quicksilver had a thing for.
See, I
And
said that last night on comics. Nobody believed me.
That's a well-known thing. Like who
I
didn't
thought
know?
so.
Yeah, it's so well known. Matt knew about it.
Exactly.
And what's her
The
name?
cinematography in
She was playing a
Godzilla.
nurse. Yeah.
The cinematography in Godzilla is fucking amazing. That shot when they're falling, when they're skydiving with just the red flares, and that's all you can see, and then it lights up Godzilla as they're. Oh man, it's
That part
fucking,
was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Jared
it's a really good
Kiso's
looking
in
movie.
that movie.
Yeah.
Kiso.
I think the issue with that one, and it got branded where when people saw the Godzilla design, they just
He looked fat. He looked
they
chubby.
memed it into like Fatzilla.
Well, to be fair though, he had been dormant for so long. You're gonna put
It
on
takes
that's,
you skipped a lot of leg
Yeah,
days.
sedentary
Hibernation,
life and whatnot.
yeah, so that hibernation weight, you know.
As we go down the list, no, these movies aren't better. I mean, I find myself watching more of the '90s
Yeah.
ones more often than these ones.
But
Oh
So-
yeah,
and we're-
I mean, like I said, dude, like Maleficent is number 8 here. It's just
yeah, but
in a great list. Which Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was that? That was one of the animated remake movies,
I
wasn't
think
it?
so. Hold on, but real quick though,
I will
to be
just
fair,
as a go ahead.
but to be fair though, in 1994 we saw some of the greatest movies ever made down in the 90s.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
let's not, you know what I
Yes.
mean?
And
The
Maleficent
range-
being at 8 is just because of what it grossed, not
Yeah.
that
This
it's
is-
the
yeah.
8th best movie.
No.
Big Hero 6
but
here.
we
I
need
do
some
have
kind
a
of metric by which to measure these.
I do have a soft spot for that one because my wife went into
I
labor
like Big
while we
Hero
were
6.
watching. We were watching and she went into labor with my son. So
Man,
It
she
was-
was ruining your kid was ruining things from the jump.
no, she waited until we were done with the movie. And I was like, "So what'd you think?" She was like, "It was all right, but it was a little
She was
uncomfortable."
actually screaming all the way
No,
through.
and I was like, "What do you mean it was a little uncomfortable?" And this is late stage pregnancy, so you get like your wife or partner will start getting cramps, yeah, and they're not contraction stuff. They're the false ones, whatever they.
Yeah.
The
The
name is-
John
Contractions.
Palsy.
Yeah,
False
the-
labor.
yeah, and so she was like, I started getting some of those, and I was like, how often? And she's like, it was going on for most of the movie, and I was like, how far apart? And she's like, I didn't time it, and I was
Down
like, well,
to
let's
2
time it. And then as we're timing it driving home, I was like, these are like 3 minutes apart. I was like, we should call your doctor. She did, and the doctor's like, go to the hospital. You're in labor.
Next time you tell the story, I'll ask her like she goes, "Oh, it was fine, but it started getting uncomfortable when the baby was crowning." That's when I was like, you know,
I was like, shh, I don't want to get kicked out.
So you
Just hold the
didn't
baby
name-
That's
in.
right. It's like bricks contract. Yeah.
So you didn't name the kid Big Hero
cross your
6 then?
legs.
No, we did not. We went with a more traditional name.
You should have called it Big Hero 6.
22 Jump Street, 21 Jump Street are fucking phenomenal. Lord and Taylor Smith. That's not it. What are their names?
Lord and Miller,
Yep.
who also did the Lego movie. So
Yeah.
your two strongest so far are the Lego are the same people.
Oh, well,
I
well, hold
am
on.
gonna-
Who declared those as the strongest ones?
they're the ones you got most excited talking about.
Debatable.
I thought you got excited about Spider-Man.
But I really wanted to see the MIB Jump Street crossover that was robbed. We got robbed by Kim Jong-un.
Yeah. Let's see. Interstellar, I still enjoy it. I know that a lot of people shit on it because it's trendy to do it because of the fact that, look, I will grant you the whole it was love is the whatever. It was a fun movie to watch. I like
love
watching.
that movie.
Bro,
I
I
saw
hated it
it-
before I had a YouTube.
I saw it in a real IMAX theater, and that shit was legit, man. Like a Slender knows if he's ever been, like the one that's at the Air and Space Museum, where it's like actually 100-foot screen,
Mhm.
and that thing was pretty intense and awesome on that display.
I'm curious about how Gone Girl made it in the 20. It's certainly gets Ben Affleck's dick, right? That got him in the top 20.
Gone Girl was a good movie.
Never
It
saw
was
it.
no
Other than
what
that one
Gone.
scene.
We've had such all right. So Gone Girl is we talked about in 1994 how we were learning the lessons about women and money. Gone Girl was a precursor to teach you about crazy women who making false accusations and how like this is funny because it is a precursor to the Me Too movement. It
Which is
came
like
out
in
in
a year.
2014
Yeah.
and the Me Too thing was like the next year. And every time I was like, did you guys not watch Gone Girl? They're like, well, that could never happen. I was like, we've had 5 examples since Me Too started in the first like year where women made this shit up.
Did we skip How to Train Your Dragon 2?
Yes.
No, How to Train Your Dragon is a great trilogy.
Yeah. Whoa.
How to Train Your Dragon is a great movie.
Yeah.
How to Train Your Dragon 3 is pretty good as well. How to Train Your Dragon 2 was kind of garbage.
Never saw any of the other ones.
What are you talking about? How to Train Your Dragon 2 is great. They each
it's
have
kind of garbage.
So Eric is asking in the chat for something. No, the one
Go on.
before that. Okay. So Eric, what happened was Sony was hacked by North Korean hackers, and part of that was a lot of information was released about what movies were coming out and shit like that, and that's how everybody found out that they were in talks to do a Jump Street Men in Black crossover.
This was the Sony hack.
Yes.
Yep.
But
because Sony was footing the bill for a Seth Rogen movie where Seth Rogen was going to assassinate Kim Jong-un.
And I like that movie a lot. What was it called?
The Interview.
The Interview.
I never watched it because it's Seth Rogen.
They hate us because they ain't us.
Yep, they hate us because they ain't us.
It's a honeypot, dude. It's a honeypot.
You got honey dicked.
I'm a honey. No.
So yeah, Eric, they canceled a lot of the projects or whatever that was leaked, and that was one that got axed, or at least that was the.
So yeah, that's
reasoning.
and also they ended up firing Amy Pascal, who was the head of the studio. And now we did get some good things if you're a comic book fan, because the reason Spider-Man is in the MCU is because Sony Japan, which owns all this stuff, after the leak, they didn't know about it. But after Amy Pascal's emails came out, they found out that Marvel wanted to have Spider-Man in the Marvel universe and were willing to put up like half the budget and just wanted to have some creative control, and they, and then Sony could make the money and keep the money.
Yep. And
Amy Pascal had said no because she was the producer on the Spider-Man movies, so she was getting back end money from that. And then the Sony higher ups found out and were like, F you. And they were like, we're making this deal. And they did it immediately after they fired her.
So Soul Assassin's also right. Amy Pascal, she was a shit talker too. But she was a woman. Respected.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of stuff, especially in the lead up. This was 2014, so like Ghostbusters 2016 was knee deep in development. So there was a lot of emails where that stuff was going on. It's available. There's like a WikiLeaks style database where you can go and read and search these emails.
I'd like to see there has to be a YouTube video somewhere breaking down all that good stuff.
I mean, there's just so many.
Yeah, but Neighbors, by the way, I think is funny. I think that
with Seth Rogen and Zac Efron
is hilarious.
He's actually a great comedic actor.
Baywatch,
I loved him in Baywatch. I was about to say Baywatch.
Yeah, it's so underrated, dude. Baywatch is hilarious.
It's like one of them. That movie's so over the top. It's one of the more subtle scenes. But when he's talking to Alexandra Daddario and she's like, "Are you staring at my breasts?"
Yes.
And he's just like the eye acting he's doing, like as he's like trying, you can see, no, I'm not, and then his eyes just keep going right back down.
He's someone that I wanted to hate because I have no interest in High School High or whatever. High School Musical. Sorry, High School High is awesome, but High School Musical. But he won me over, man. He's hilarious, and he's a damn good actor.
He did. If you haven't watched the Iron Claw,
yeah,
oh
Iron
my
Claw.
God, that movie is like, if you want to talk a movie where like for a man to like just get broken and cry, like I will not lie, like by the end, there's that movie is so tragic, and you know it's true to the point we've talked about it, where the director was like, "We cut out
Yeah, I was about to
a
say.
brother."
Some
There
of the
was
other
another.
brothers.
There was another brother who died, who committed suicide, and we cut it out because we're like, the audience has been through too much, and they'll think we're just making this up. It's just like- so they actually cut out another brother who had committed suicide. I was like, oh, and so it's at the. I don't want to. I mean, part of me doesn't want to spoil it, but it's been out now for so long. Like, there's the ends. Like, he's by himself. He's the only brother left, and he's just like sad. And then
Yeah.
his sons come up, and they're like, "What's wrong, Dad?" And he's like, "Well, I was a brother, and now I'm not." And it was just like, and the way Zac Efron delivers that line, the emotion. I was like, I wasn't like Mad says, I was not prepared for High School Musical, bro,
Right?
to actually be able to like well that kind of depth of
I had gotten so used and bought into him as a comedic actor. By the way, Dirty Grandpa is pretty fucking funny too. And it has my boy Jason Mantzoukas in it. Dirty Grandpa's with Robert De Niro and him.
Yep.
Okay.
It's pretty good. Anyway, we can keep going. We're at 20.
Yeah. All right. So but yeah, Gone Girl is if you're a dude and living, like, and you're about to enter the dating world, watch it.
Yep.
Be aware of what it is. Do not do Crazy Hot Scale. You
Don't
gotta-
get distracted by that one scene.
where
The only one I've seen.
what's her name takes her top off?
No, where Ben Affleck takes a shower. What are you talking about?
I was talking about the girl,
Ew,
the
gross.
model who has giant natural boobs. She
You
played
don't
the
have to think of her
mistress.
name. I'll never look her up.
She was in the Blurred Lines video.
That did not help me. It's
I'm
fine.
pulling it up.
Ride along is
Blurred
okay.
Lines video, of
Gone
course.
Girl.
Lucy is banana dumb.
That movie is so it's perfect. Luc Besson,
Oh, Emily Ratajkowski.
Ratajkowski. That's
I've
right.
never
yeah.
heard that name before.
You've
Is
She was
Lucy
in
one of-
Burn Notice, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Never
She
watched
w-
it.
Ooh, I did like Burn Notice.
I do like Ride Along.
It's fine. It's
It's alright.
It's okay.
Lucy
Into the
is that
Woods,
one of the is Lucy one of the humans only use 10% of their brain, and what
Yeah.
happens if we
Yep.
With
so
Scarlett
fucking
Johansson.
dumb. Limitless was great, but that one's dumb.
I liked.
Yeah. So I think I liked Limitless. Didn't talk of. I think if I remember right, Limitless was more the drug allowed you to have perfect recall and connections instantly. Like it wasn't that your brain wasn't getting used. It was that people just are bad at being
I'd have
able
to
to
go back and
make
look.
connections. All right, Unbroken was. I mean, Angelina Jolie did
I
it,
never watched it.
but it didn't. I mean, A Night at the Museum, just another.
These are getting bad
franchise.
already, bro.
I know.
I was gonna say,
We've got one.
Okay, there we go.
Edge of Tomorrow.
well, Edge of
also.
Tomorrow
We
is
got
pretty good
two.
too.
Yeah, Live, Die, and Repeat. I just watched it the other day.
I have a soft spot for Rise of Empire.
I tried to
only
watch it last
because
week.
I've got a hard spot for it.
I was gonna
I
say
don't. Oh my
because
Eva Green.
Ava Green, she's so hot.
I
And,
tried
Best
to watch
boobs
it.
in Hollywood.
I tried to watch it last week. I couldn't get through the first like 15 minutes. I was already like, it's fine. I get it.
No,
Edge of Tomorrow should have been at the
Yeah.
top of this list in the Just
Live, Die, and
World.
Repeat. I watched
Yeah.
that last
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Is Noah? Is
It's
that
really
the one?
good.
Is that the Dune guy?
Noah is
No,
Yeah,
Russell
the one with all the
Crowe.
rock monsters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
They took it from Enoch, from the Book of Enoch. I like that. I like
Noah
the
was the
movie.
one. Who was it's the pretentious director. The
Bro,
one who
that's
did
Dune.
Crowe acted.
no Requiem for a Dream and
Wait, is it not the same director from Dune and
Fountain.
And I'm gonna have to look it up.
I will say, hot take. I didn't think Noah was that bad.
He did
I enjoyed
Black
it.
Swan. He did Black Swan.
Yeah, I
with
kinda
Natalie
liked
Portman. What
Yeah.
is his name?
But
Darren Aronofsky.
Darren Aronofsky. Yeah,
Okay.
he's
The thing is, it was the plot was given away beforehand. We knew the Red Sea was going to part. I mean, it was given away.
That's
That's
Moses.
Not
Moses.
even the right story.
See, I was already well aware of the Book of Enoch going into it, so I wasn't like, wait, what is this story?
Is that the same Aronofsky that does Primal? Or is that a different
That's
No.
Tartakovsky. That's Tartakovsky.
That's
Tartakovsky?
Tartakovsky, yeah.
Okay.
No, Darren Aronofsky did Requiem for a Dream was his
Dream,
first
yeah.
breakout thing in Hollywood.
Morgan.
That
O'Connor.
movie's rough, man. Except
Ass
for the
to
ass to
ass.
ass part.
Yeah. Then he
Marlon
did.
Wayans was in that. Didn't he leave the
That was
Dungeon and
his-
Dragon movie to do that one?
Yeah, he was, because this was a serious, like, I'm gonna be an actor movie, and
Dude, we are not even in the 40s yet, and this list is already
Wrestler.
struggling.
Right. Oh,
The
boy.
Wrestler was a good one that he did.
yeah.
The
Hold on,
Wrestler.
look at this. We've got our synergy point right here. Dumb and Dumber 2 came out 20 years later. It's good for them.
Which was
It's-
the Imitation Game?
Which one is Heaven for Real? Is that Greg Kinnear?
Hold on, I got another question in
I
the
think
chat.
so.
I don't like the 10% brain thing because that is not a thing. You absolutely use all
Yeah,
of
you
your
use
brain.
Use
way
your
more
brain.
than 10% of your brain.
Yeah.
You use pretty
Not-
much all of it.
Not Scarlett Johansson. She still to this day only uses 10% of her brain.
Well,
Now,
I
it's
will-
not all active at once. That's called a seizure. But
right, yeah. But there's different regions of your brain that is in charge of different things or whatever. Your frontal lobe, blah 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 blah. Right?
Yeah, your medulla oblongata.
There's some crazy stories out
No,
there.
Colonel
What's
Sanders.
It's
Isn't
so
that a
wrong.
Sting album or Police album?
There's some crazy stories out there about people that were shot in the head or whatever, and then they were able to play the piano as if they've always known. And
Or speak
all-
another language that they've
exactly,
never.
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of interesting stories about
that's
that.
weird.
About how your
Davina
brain
brings up. Oh, good.
So yeah, because your brain will rewire itself, in
New
just
synapses.
yeah, and so it creates an entirely different.
But
you
if
know,
you've never ever been
workaround.
able to speak a language, how would losing half your brain make you be able
yeah,
to
but if
speak
you
it?
heard it, your brain has it in there. It just hasn't. You haven't figured out how to organize
It's
and
basically
access the information.
70s. It's like, you know how some like autistic kids are like instant savants at things.
Like
The way
Dustin
your
Hoffman.
like your brain can end like what is it gives you. It's like weird. I don't understand it, but it,
No,
it has
no one
happened.
does.
It is weird.
Luc Besson's follow up, Anna. I did like Anna. I thought Anna was a pretty good spy
Yeah,
thriller.
By the
type
way,
movie.
just to put our knowledge of the human, how we work, we don't even know why we yawn. That is still a mystery.
Do we still not know
I
why
thought
we
it was
hiccup?
because you weren't breathing enough and you needed
Nope.
more oxygen.
That is a theory. We still do not have a definitive answer why you yawn.
But-
You know what's crazy?
And why
Dogs.
yawns are
do it.
contagious?
No, well, so even to dogs though, dogs will even.
Yeah, you don't wanna run a
Sympathetic
dog.
reflex.
Yep.
Yeah. A dog will, a cat will too.
Oh, fucking Fury, dude. One of the. Oh, I love that fucking
That's a
movie.
good movie.
Fury was
And-
pretty
Annabelle was
good.
good too.
Fury holds up. Tammy
Antoine
does not.
Fuqua can do
what
no
was
wrong.
the Imitation Game?
That was
So
with.
Antoine Fuqua didn't do Fury.
He was no.
Imitation Game.
He was a producer on it, dude. Every time
Oh,
you
that
see
was the
the guy
yeah,
that did Training
oh.
Day, whatever his name is, him and Antoine Fuqua are attached to the hip.
Yeah, but Fury was the guy who did Suicide Squad. David Ayer.
That's right. Are they both black? Please say no.
No,
Damn it, they are. No, wait, no, they're not.
the
No, they're
Imitation
not.
Game.
David
The
Ayer's
Alan
not.
Turing thing.
yeah,
For
that
whatever
was.
reason, I get Antoine Fuqua and David Ayer mixed up a lot.
I mean,
But-
if I appreciate that Alan Turing was a great historical figure,
that was back in bitch, right? Back, what's his name?
but I mean, Hollywood's obsession with like they were persecuted because they're gay,
Yeah.
movies, it gets
Yeah.
old. And that one was like way past the expiration date for me.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're white
Um,
shifty.
Annabelle, which was another Conjuring, was the
Not
Conjuring.
bad. I like the John. What's his Juan? What's James Wan? Does those movies right?
He didn't do
Yeah.
Annabelle, but he
No,
did
no.
one.
He's
He does the main line of
Yeah.
the
right,
Conjuring.
and he's also executive producer, and they're all kind of in his style.
Man, Conjuring 1 and 2 are I like them. They're scary.
I don't know if
I like real religious scary. I think
Same.
religious scary is way
Yeah.
scarier than
Same.
just silly
Then jump
scary.
scares and
Yeah,
stuff.
Yep.
in a lot of ways.
Mm.
yeah, I'll
Like
take
the
a good Exorcist movie.
and I want it to be no offense to other religions. If I want a demon kind of possession thing, I want it to be Catholic based.
Yep.
'Cause there's just something about the Catholic
Well,
like
well, Chad,
aesthetic.
Chad, because they're Catholics are the only ones that think that they can do exorcisms. No one else tries. No one else does that.
That's not true. Other
Oh shit.
offshoots will do stuff.
Oh,
but,
okay. I'm thinking Christianity. I
I'll
don't.
try.
like voodoo does it.
Again, that's why I was like, okay,
Shamans,
let
yeah, you
me
get
let
a
me
shaman to do it.
qualify that with saying Christianity.
Yeah, that's true.
Catholicism, they're the exorcist people.
Now,
But
and if you're gonna call an exorcist, you better get the Pope's exorcist.
is it a me? So what I was gonna say about James Wan, have you guys ever seen an interview with him?
He
No.
seems
It's-
a little like
It's
autistic.
it's mind shattering because you look at him, James Wan, and then you hear his Australian accent, and it takes some
Throws you
time
right out.
to work that out in your head,
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
right?
You know what? I know
Rama
what
looks
you're talking
confused.
about because that same thing happened to my little brother. He really loved Harry Potter, and when they made the movies, the girl that Harry Potter really liked was this Asian girl, but she was Scottish. So in the movie, yeah,
Mm.
like when Cho finally talks and she's got this crazy thick Scottish accent and it's coming out of this
It's
like
weird.
traditional Asian looking face, it's like it just breaks.
You
It's
know,
like, this is
when I
not
used
what
to-
I'm expecting.
When I used to travel around Europe and go to places like Spain and Italy and go to a Chinese restaurant, it's really weird when you hear them speak Spanish or Italian. They're supposed to speak English,
Yeah.
but it's the Chinese guy speaking Spanish. It was like, that's weird.
Well, there's a restaurant down in New York City. My buddy dragged me to one time. It's all like Cuban and Hispanic food, and it's run by Chinese people.
It's weird when you hear them talking other languages.
I
They're
mean, as
supposed to
long as
speak
you can,
English.
as long as you cook it well, I don't give a shit. Yeah, anyway.
Oh yeah, same. But it's
It's
just
just weird.
weird
Yeah.
getting,
I mean, I'm not over here acting like I'm a, what's his name from Shang-Chi, where he's like, you effers can't make tea because you're not from
'Cause
Taiwan.
tea is Chinese. Yeah,
Yeah, you can't do boba. Boba
Yeah.
is ours.
Boba Fett.
Man, I was just about to learn how to do it too for my new channel.
Yeah,
Alright,
no
uh,
boba
did
for
you-
you.
Did you guys watch Longmire?
Yeah,
I
Watch
tried.
Longmire? All right, it's funny when they heard the lead actor speak in interviews. He was Australian. I just thought he was putting the Australian accent on. 'Cause that doesn't make it. He's
No.
Australian. No.
Nice.
I'm kind of surprised Let's Speak Hops is that high. It was.
I
it was
enjoyed
okay.
it. I
Yeah.
liked it. It made me laugh because it was the younger Wayne's, Damon Wayne's son, right?
Yep.
Is the-
Yep. Damon Wayne Jr., isn't it?
Yeah. So,
And the guy with
Monuments
the
Men
nose.
was
Monuments Men is a
pretentious,
good movie. No,
but it's
No.
pretentious. It's
No.
pretentious.
pretentious. Moi.
It sets it it sells itself as being kind of like one of those comedy, you know what I mean, kind of, but it's not fun. I don't know. It didn't know what it wanted to be.
You just don't like George Clooney, and
I
agree
think
with
What,
that.
are you kidding me?
I
Yeah,
mean,
what
I
was
loved
it?
him in Men Who Stare at Goats.
That
George,
was good.
yes, that's a great one. But George Clooney's my favorite Bruce Wayne.
I think this was the Rock Hercules, not the dude from.
Not the. Is this a picture?
Yeah,
or
you're right.
Mosaic?
Yeah, that was forgettable.
I
Another
don't-
Purge. I
didn't see
mean,
it.
they're all the kind. They're low. They're just low budget, kind of far.
Exodus Gods and-
Alexander is a kids movie. That it's fine
Yeah,
for
I
a
think I've
kids
never
movie,
seen
but it's
that.
not anything great.
Fin-
It's no blank check. Let's
Nope.
say that. Blank check, it holds up and teaches valuable lessons about
Yep.
getting hot girls in the FBI to want to hook up with you when you're legal. So that's good.
Exodus Gods and Kings was probably the tipping point to like, okay, white people can't play
Train wreck.
Yeah,
Gypsies
was-
anymore.
That movie is specifically credited
Yep.
with doing it. So
But I liked
Um,
it. I didn't think it was that bad.
It was a bit of a train
God's
wreck.
Not Dead was
I never saw it.
one of the more successful Christian movies of the entire era.
So we're
It's
at
funny,
50.
Nick.
They're still getting sequels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
funny
we're
the
at
next
50 now, and
one's
it's
Son of
it's
God.
not getting better.
Yeah.
I think I
Budapest.
Horrible
was
bosses.
right.
Both of them had their moment.
Oh, Grand Budapest Hotel's quite good.
Horrible Bosses
Eh.
2. Yeah, this
Yeah.
is the sequel, so that wasn't as good.
No, the RoboCop didn't make much
Dracula
money, did
Untold. I liked the movie, but I mean, it wasn't anything special. It
I
was
don't,
just
I
I-
don't think I've ever heard of it.
I wish I could like that movie because it seemed like it could be really cool, but it wasn't.
As cool
it
as
was
Dracula
Pretty
2000.
bad.
it's better than Dracula 2000.
That's a hard.
There's Jack Ryan.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Jack
yeah,
Ryan
yeah.
Shadow Recruit. Yeah.
Have you? So I used to think of Dracula 2000 as being, yeah, it's a horrible movie, but it was such an interesting idea about how like
That he was Judas.
yeah, right. And I built it up in my head, and then Shredda and I watched it. I'm like, oh no. Oh, I built this up in my head way more than what it was.
That was one of those things where, like, when I do the show with Script Doctor and we review scripts, where
I've never
like
been invited.
you had to sign like there's like 14 of us as co-hosts that rotate. You had to, he said early on, once it's locked down, it's locked down.
He didn't sign.
Anyway.
We'll split screen next time. Go on.
Anyway, what we've talked about, like there's a lot of scripts that end up being bad, but they're like the concept was really good. They just
Right.
executed terribly. Like I agree with you. When I watched the Dracula 2000 thing and they did the Judas reveal, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that shit's legit. Because that
Right.
explains the silver, it explains the cross, it explains like it
everything.
really explained all the things that hurt Dracula. And I was like, that was a much better concept that wasn't done very well.
And I want
want someone else to do that.
I have talked about it over the years as being this great concept and idea, and like, no, listen, the movie's bad, but it holds up because of this. And then rewatching, I'm like, I've lied to so many people over the years about this movie.
It's better than the Castlevania explanation as to why vampires don't like certain things.
Oh, because of the angles.
90-degree angles.
So,
so someone in our chat, me and Slender are in, one of our friends was like, well, then you should just carry around a T-square or this or that. Like, why is it on just a crawl?
Real quick before we get too far away from it.
Vampires hate math. I hate it too.
Okay. You're too low for anybody to hear you, Slender.
Yeah, it's like your gate.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like your gate.
it's doing the thing where you're very quiet and then very loud again.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Son of a bitch.
So before we
Alright.
get too far away, listen, I know I can't be in the rotation. I'm okay with that. However, if you come across one that has anything to do with military or law enforcement, maybe you could bring on somebody special that could actually
Consultation.
lend a little knowledge to it.
You could be like
How we
Steve
sounding now?
King.
I'll take your silence as a yes.
Regular volume.
Regular volume? Okay.
Yeah.
Seems all right.
I
Oh,
don't
now he
know.
responds to somebody.
The Box Trolls was one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
I
It
don't
was
remember it at all.
absolute fucking awful.
One of the most boring things I have ever sat through in my life. Even the
Yeah.
kids, when we came out, they were just like, sorry.
Can you scroll up? What was the last major, like, oh yeah, that one was great. How far back was that? Okay,
That
right
one was
about there.
great. I mean,
Not great, but
Annabelle and Fury were
Fury.
about
Yeah,
the
Fury
last two
probably.
that were good.
Fury was
Not-
the
well,
last one where I think we
I
thought
want
it
to say
was.
good because there are some good ones between 40 and 50.
But real quick, just because it was brought up in chat, this is remember what they took from us from 1994. This was blank check. This is what the they're teaching you that this hot FBI chick is going to be totally down with just like
Karen
making
Duffy.
making out with the little kid.
Yep.
Is like, oh, and you wonder why we all got a complex. It's
And now that only happens in the public schools.
Or if or if their stepmom gets stuck somewhere.
exactly, that was Milk Money. We talked about that was the prototype for Milk Money. All right, so we were.
Well, you and I were
Also,
talking about how I could lend my military and law enforcement knowledge if you come across a script like that.
Gotcha.
So I win, right? I said 50.
One did Jersey Boys again. No, we did. Yeah, I don't think we. Yeah, even
John Wick.
John Wick
can't
is
believe
the
I took the
first John Wick.
7.
because it only made like $40 million, but the movie was so low budget.
A Million Ways to Die in the West, I think, is hilarious.
Yeah, I
I
thought it
do
was
like
funny.
that movie.
I
I
laugh-
love Liam Neeson in that movie. He enjoyed being the
Yep.
bad guy so much.
Yeah.
You guys know me. I'm not a big like toilet humor guy. Like the fart jokes. I don't find them funny. But when Neil Patrick Harris shit in that hat, I laughed so hard in the theater. The girl I was with almost broke up with me because I could not stop laughing. It
Was it the uncontrollable mad giggle laugh too? 'Cause
I
that
mean, but to a 10th degree too, man.
Dude, the
could
one
not
that
stop.
got me in that movie was when he was explaining to him how they shipped the ice in.
Yes, yes.
And then the rope broke and that dude's head exploded.
And they still use the ice.
Yeah, it was like, well, we're not sending it back.
Yeah.
It's too expensive. Yeah, so John Wick. All right, so at 77, we got one that is pretty classic. but no, Dolphin,
God,
no,
has it really been
Expendables.
10 years since Expendables 3?
Yes.
I mean, I
Wow.
don't care for any of those, to be honest.
10
Nope,
years
nope,
now?
no.
No. The Gambler,
No.
that's a Mark Wahlberg one, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler is that, man,
Yeah.
that movie is disturbing.
Well, Jake Gyllenhaal naturally has that creepiness under his eyes. Like even in Bubble Boy,
Like Donnie Darko, Bubble Boy, they're the
Yeah.
two sides of the same coin.
right?
that kid ain't right. It's
He-
like we
actually-
need the King of the Hill guy. It's this
He's
kid
always-
ain't right.
He's
That
always better
boy
when he's in
ain't
a
right.
movie that he can tap into that kind of darkness in him, you know?
That's why he was so good in the one where he was a boxer when his
Yeah,
Oh, that
Southpaw.
was good, yeah.
Southpaw.
Oh man, that movie tears me up. Oh,
I know.
oh.
Oh,
was
you know
good.
what? As a football fan, I appreciate that they nailed the fact that the only time the Browns ever have a good day is on the draft.
Draft Day was a really good movie, bro. I
Oculus.
really like that movie.
Oculus
do.
was a pretty good
Actually,
horror movie.
But by the way,
Chef is good at number 90. It was quite a nice
Mm.
movie. Chef.
you're so Canadian. Southpaw, I think, was directed by
I
either
like
David
Jeff.
Ayer.
I gotta agree with
I
him on
think
that.
it was
I
a
like
David
Jeff.
Ayer.
It was a nice movie, a road movie with food. It was good.
Yeah, heartwarming as fuck.
Yes, exactly. John
no,
Favreau.
No.
Draft Day was all right though.
No.
Draft Day.
This was another example of Hollywood putting out two movies like why did we need two Hercules movies?
A Most Wanted Man. That's a Philip Seymour Hoffman, right?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure that's one of his. That's one of his.
Oh
boy.
A Step Up
Dude,
sequel.
we-
No.
It's
We
Philip
pretty
Seymour
much-
Hoffman, yeah.
We
Oh,
pretty much
wait.
dropped off at 40 with a couple
I'm
of
sure-
outstanders.
I guarantee
know?
you that Brahma is watching this one on repeat.
Eva Green
dame
does have
for
the
a-
best
Yeah.
boobs in Hollywood.
Yep.
Never seen it.
They're featured
Yeah,
prominently
I
in that
saw the
movie.
first Sin City. I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I've never seen the second one.
So Foxcatcher.
So what do you think of Whiplash? Sorry,
okay.
Mad. What do you think of Whiplash? I like
That was
Don't
an
know.
Oscar-winning.
the drumming one.
Oh,
Yeah,
I watched it for the
J.K.
first time a few
Simmons.
months ago.
and Miles
Yeah.
Teller. J.K. Simmons was fearsome in it, like frightening.
dude, that guy is jacked for. He's like 70.
Oh,
and
he's great and
like-
everything.
He looks like ridiculous.
Has a great show that was on Amazon called Counterpart.
Yeah, that ended too soon.
Yeah,
didn't it?
yeah, they canceled it,
real
but it was
shame.
good. Foxcatcher though
That
is
movie's messed up.
it's boring. It's a drag to get through, but the performances, Channing Tatum acted his ass off in that.
I
Yeah,
was
but it's
surprised
the
about
wrong kind of wrestling. It's
what's
the
his
wrestling-
name? The guy from
Steve
the Office.
Carell,
Steve
Carell.
Carell, like
Carell, yeah.
yeah, I mean, it is. You don't. Although you can like comedic actors can usually pull off like
Right.
stuff better. They can go to drama way easier than dramatic actors can usually go into comedy.
Well, because comedy has that natural kind of darkness to it,
Timing.
anyways. You know, a lot of comedy comes from pain,
Yeah,
like when Quarter Black did me dirty at the
big
meetup.
time you when you yelled out to him and
Hey,
he
there's
Are you gonna
there's the
tell that
interview.
story?
Hang on.
Wait,
Oh,
what's
there
up,
it is.
Slender?
You haven't told that story to chat yet. Are you going to
Oh, have I
chat
not?
the story? No, you
He
told
told
us
it
that
last
before we
night
started
on-
the show.
He
Yeah,
told
I
it
did
last
last
night on Comic Show.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Oh, the
our
drop
chat
was
is.
good.
We talked about this behind the scene. Our chat is not only people who watched comics show.
Our chat
We-
has like
We
a
have
different person.
we have at least one fan. We got Eric over there. Yeah,
I mean,
see,
I'm just
Eric.
giving him an excuse as to why he hasn't told it.
I
yet.
bet Shifty wasn't in the chat on comic show.
No, he wasn't on there. I would have remembered him being on the.
Yeah. So I mean, we got a couple.
A Most Violent Year is good. 140.
Yeah, I like the Most Violent Year. Yeah.
That was,
Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, yeah.
I like Oscar Isaac a lot,
Agreed.
even as a person, and he's
Nope.
fucking talented as shit.
Snowpiercer.
Snowpiercer.
You'll eat
Oscar.
the bugs and you like it. That's pretty much.
I like
Yeah.
Snowpiercer.
Oscar Isaac does a great cover of the Star Wars song that Bill Murray did on SNL.
Really?
Yeah, he does it acoustic, and it's fucking
I'll
great.
have to look at that. Yeah, I'll have to go see that.
He
But Star Wars.
if you haven't seen Inside Ewan Davis, it's a
Oh yeah, I
Coen.
love that movie.
I do too. Not a lot of people do because it's a very
It's a
nihilistic
slice.
movie, but
Yeah.
the music is amazing. And the guy
It is.
from Sanford and Son, the main dude. He is the one that did all
Mumford
the
and Son?
music. Mumford and Son. Yep. Sorry, not the
Sanford and Son
a
was
little bit different, but Mumford and Son, man.
I'm coming for you. I'm coming.
Yeah, he did the music, and Oscar Isaac is phenomenal.
It's funny when
Oh,
they're
wait.
doing the pop tune with the different vocal
Yeah,
bits. that
President
they have to
Kennedy and
shout.
shit.
It's
Yeah,
All right, I
I
found
still
the
listen
gem.
to the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Found the gem at 172.
Oh, Raid
Yeah.
The Raid 2, yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
So, but I mean, it is a sequel, but it is great. So
Oh,
Still
it's
pretty
amazing.
good in its own right. Yeah. Oh,
I bet Brahma hasn't
right.
seen it.
I've seen it.
Nope.
174. I've seen that movie, and it's brilliant. It's a
the
Korean
Admiral
movie.
Roaring Currents.
It's a Korean movie. It's fantastic, and it stars. The guy that stars in it was in Lucy, which was further up the list. Korean actor Choi Min-sik. It's the
Man.
top. It's the top grossing Korean movie of all time.
Man,
So-
look how far Kevin Smith fell by 2014 Tusk. right?
Tusk
That
is a
was
crazy movie, though. Here's my takeaway on this, and I'm gonna have a smoke. My takeaway is that I would be shocked if there's 20 movies from this year that will still be relevant and talked about it in
Right.
20 years, right? Compared to what you have from 1994, a massive amount of those movies are still not only relevant but are source of like
At this point,
inspiration.
classics.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's another Korean movie just below it, Ode to My Father, which is another great Korean one. So there's Snowpiercer's technically a Korean movie.
Do you not remember when we talked about that hack that they did and
So
what
there's
it cost
three
us?
Korean movies.
That was North Korean. He's talking about South Korean.
South Korea.
That's like, oh, I'm talking about Australia, not New Zealand. It's not that big of a difference.
I think they would disagree with you in the north and the south. Anyway, there's three Korean movies.
Is there a
on the
big
list.
difference between Texas and Oklahoma? No.
Yes.
That's
Texans
nowhere near
beat
the same. Are you
Oklahoma.
kidding?
Oklahoma's a nuisance.
No, if you would have said that would be like West Virginia and Virginia, that's something.
I mean,
No.
there's a
So-
bigger difference between West Virginia and Virginia than Oklahoma and Texas.
So-
You're so wrong.
No,
wanna ask-
I'm Slender. Can you not confirm this is true?
I want to ask
I
something
can
about
confirm
this.
it's true.
It's not
Yeah.
even true. Even the names are similar, unlike Texas and Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
You're muted, Matt.
So,
Oh
Well,
wow,
I
I was
wanna ask
muted for
something.
all of that shit.
That
Did
list
y'all
only-
mute me? Hold on, 70s. Did y'all mute me before I got to do the whole Virginia and West Virginia is the same fucking name,
No,
unlike
we
Texas
heard
and
it. We heard
Oklahoma?
it.
No, we heard it.
We heard all of it.
You muted me, motherfuckers.
so that list goes to 200, but what's the lowest grossing movie of that year? If it goes from 1 to 200, what's below 200?
I mean,
201.
by 200, it was. I mean, let's see what what was the gross for that one was
The
only
200
about
one.
1.3 million dollars was the gross.
Oh, there's
so
got to be less than that, though. There has
I'm
to be
sure there
movies-
were. There was probably. I mean, Kirk Cameron's Christmas was higher than number 200, so
So
that made
lowest-
2.7 million.
Lowest grossing movie
Of 2014.
2014. See if there's any-
Shifty, who is in Virginia, confirms that Cousins be loving in West Virginia, but not here in Virginia. So that's
Wait, I thought you
Virginia's
two were
just for
West
lovers,
Virginia.
and they really like to push that fact.
all right. Wait, you thought I was in West Virginia? No,
Yeah.
Slender's in West Virginia.
I'm in West
Yeah.
Virginia.
I am in the right part of right Virginia, but I'm close to the border,
Oh,
so I can
that's-
go.
So you're in the Virginia that's going to vote for Kamala Harris.
Oh
That's-
no, we're trending Trump.
That's
Oh,
why
are
you
you?
wanted to
We'll see.
disassociate with the state so much because he's in it. I got you. All right, I'll be back.
You can't actually find the list of the lowest grossing ones. It just has the ones that were the biggest flops, but some of those were still in the 200.
It's Neil Breen. He had a movie come out that year.
John
Well,
Denver's
That second
Country
part, though,
Roads.
I will say that second part is true. There are monsters in the caves that the Australians climb through in West Virginia.
I don't know if this is this true. John Denver Country Roads is about Western Virginia, not West Virginia.
How the fuck should I know?
I mean,
He
the
didn't
line's
write
West
it.
Virginia.
He
I
he
know that-
sings West Virginia.
Yeah, I know that the people of
Doesn't
West
he?
Virginia consider that their like anthem. So
Honestly,
if
they
it-
don't deserve such a great song. Nothing personal. It's a fantastic song. It's too good for them.
Are you talking
Have
about
you ever been to West Virginia?
Nope.
Are you,
And
Shifty
shut
is
your fucking mouth.
All right, I'm gonna go smoke.
Shifty is talking about Republican Senate candidate Hung Cao.
Hung cow. Yeah, I've actually, he's quite based, isn't he?
Oh no, he is legit. Yeah,
He's legit. Yeah, I've seen.
yeah.
A lot of stuff
They
with
tried
him.
to get him in trouble because he said he wanted people in the military to eat, like if they're getting shot at and get shot, to eat their own intestines, say, I want more and kill. And they're like, because he's a military vet, and they're like, that's ridiculous. And he's like, are you going to walk? And he's like, no, I don't apologize. That's what the military is, to kill people. It's not to, it's not to do
Eric,
some kind of sort of
Everything
job.
that's mentioned is also in West Virginia. He's talking about mountains and rivers, man. Those go through more than one state.
They say West Virginia.
Appalachia consists of most of the western part of Virginia and almost all of West Virginia. So it's I don't know.
And the Shenandoah River, that's the river where all the coal got shipped out. So
Well, the Shenandoah runs mostly through regular. I mean, it's Shenandoah is right by me in Winchester, and it goes all the way through to Front.
it's right by me too.
Yeah, it forks and goes all the way around. It
Real
joins
quick,
to the
you
Potomac.
Real quick before I
Read
go,
it
I looked it
according-
up. There is a debate about whether the song
Yes,
is about
but according
West
to-
Virginia or Western Virginia.
According to Reddit,
No, leave,
man,
leave it
it's
to
Western
Virginia. I don't want to
Virginia.
take something that someone else has because they got nothing good of their own.
I'm gonna go
Are
have
you
smoke.
saying that people that John Denver was murdered to keep this silent so that people could claim it for West Virginia? I could see that happening, Hatfield McCoy style.
I could see it happening too.
Yeah, some people from West Virginia just took him out before he could clarify.
You're never going to tell the truth.
It could be you just said West Virginia because it rhymed better.
I'll just say that, regardless of whether he intended it that way, West Virginia is committed to that song. They love it and they're good to go.
That's all they've got.
Oh my God. I'm glad you guys all think that because I don't want you fuckers moving here anyway. So,
All right, so Eric, the NASCAR track that Virginia has in Bristol is actually down there because it's basically Tennessee. Bristol, it's one of those cities where, like Kansas City, it's basically in two states at the same time.
I mean, I
Bristol
don't want a
is in-
NASCAR track anyway. NASCAR is stupid.
Nobody wants to make right turns.
Like, I'm sorry, but this is one of those places where Europe actually does racing better than us because, there's left
that's
turns
right.
and right turns and ups and downs.
I always forget, Richmond too, as well, because Richmond has turned in to a woke shithole.
It's a woke
I forget that they have that's also where they do the state fair, is down at the NASCAR track there. It's big enough that they put all the fair rides and fun stuff. It's a good time.
I was just looking at that list.
Oh,
again.
that's right. So we have 3.
No, I'm going to be hostile. I got to defend the state. I will become the Hatfields and McCoys.
Both of them. Are you going to shoot yourself?
I'm going to become both of them. I'm going to shoot
Look at-
myself and everybody else.
Oh, you
then
can
shoot
hear
back.
Bride of Slender is in the background getting the guns ready.
Yeah, that technically happened. And one of them were up in what? Tennessee, Kentucky? Yeah, somewhere around there.
Near the Kentucky part with the Hatfields and McCoys.
Yep.
Let's see.
Hell, the only reason West Virginia even exists is because they didn't want to secede with the rest of Virginia.
Oh wait, wrong screen.
Hey, that was us.
Yeah, I keep the chat window open. Here we go. All right. Speaking of movies that will probably not be remembered 20 years from now. Venom, The
It's
Last
funny.
Dance.
No, hang on. At 198 on that last list, there was a Tom Hardy movie at number 198. Just coincidence that you're showing this. And the movie was called Lock. But you've never even heard of it or seen it.
No, I'm guessing
Haven't
it
heard of it or
refers
seen
to
it.
bodies of water in Scotland.
No, he's sitting at Locké, Lock. It's his name, and he's basically sitting in a car talking on on the phone for the entire movie.
That sounds boring as fuck.
Yeah, well, it was
Yeah.
quite good. It was quite good. It was the way it was constructed, the people he was talking to. It was quite interesting, but minor movie. But that's why it was 198 on the list.
That's right, Eric. 2 hours
Correction.
when we get to Venom because Matt was
Correction,
here
Eric.
from the start.
2 hours in, and we almost got the Venom.
Yeah, we haven't got there yet.
So, I mean, the Venom review doesn't have to be long. If you like the first one and the second one, you'll like this one. If you
There were
didn't
some
like
great
them,
lines in it.
I thought it. I enjoyed it because I think Tom Hardy, because he also does the voice of the symbiote Venom.
Does he?
Yeah, he does the voice. That's him.
Okay.
Where he's like, "Hey, Eddie."
Lady Luck is a fickle slut.
Yeah, that was my favorite. It cracked me up.
Best
I was
part.
going to bring it up.
I find
Well,
them
and
funny.
the sing along, while it took way too long, hearing Venom do it was funny.
Yeah, Major Tom to ground.
God, it's funny. I was just watching David
9.
Bowie performing that earlier.
And yeah, I did like the conversion of the hippie family. Fuck aliens, get out of here.
I
found it
didn't
funny.
think they needed to be brought back after the. I think that anytime we weren't spending time with Tom Hardy, I thought it was pretty wasted.
Hmm.
I didn't care for the side stories.
No,
They kind of brought it together, and I know why they had him, at least for his trip with them, so that you could have some emotional stuff about a family. But I thought they could have just left them out after Vegas.
Yeah, I mean I agree, but it made for some comedy. It allowed him.
yeah.
It gave him more moments to be heroic, which was nice. Because as an audience member, when you're building the movie, you're gonna feel better about him saving this family than maybe even as great as they are, the soldiers who were just trying to kill him. So it gives him a more clean, heroic kind of move, save. I do think it was like you said, when Tom Hardy's charisma carries this movie, and they have since the first one.
Yeah,
It's
because the
him-
stories are
yeah.
crap.
The story, like the plot's not really there. It's just Tom Hardy
They're funny,
seems to have a good
They're
time
funny.
doing it. Tom Hardy does have charisma on screen. It's
Yeah.
it was like it did get a little surprisingly deep in the car. Tom Hardy got to give a really good face, like emotional, like deep kind of what's going on with his eyes kind of acting
Mhm.
and then he's doing the voiceover of Venom where they're having the conversation like Brahma said about what it would, like what he gave up, what he lost. So if you like them, I think this was a really kind of fun send off. It's a little bloated. It probably could have been 20 minutes shorter. The end credit, like the usage of Null, the god of the symbiotes, was worthless. He's basically the amount of time he has on the screen. If you're a comic guy and you were like really excited to see him on screen, you're getting about the equivalent of when Thanos was in the first Avengers movie.
Yeah,
And which is I'd say a total
Minutes.
of around.
It's like a cameo.
And most of the time he's got his head just down and you're not even seeing him.
until the credits scene.
Yeah, and even that was the straight Thanos cameo from Avengers, just looking up, smile like with the evil smile. But
Yeah, there
You're
was
gonna
some
have-
laugh out loud
Yeah.
funny parts though. I mean,
Mrs. Chen, yeah, like
Oh. the first one that got me was engage your core, Eddie. Engage your
Engage
core.
your core. Yeah, when he's parachuting
Parachuting.
out, he's like, "That was a good one, Eddie. Good landing. Good, you listened." I do like when Venom seems to be giving him pep talks like he's a life coach. Yes,
yeah, Venom
Eddie,
is
you're
the
doing
funny
it.
part of the movie. I mean, Tom Hardy does a good job interacting with nobody there, but Venom has the lines that are actually funny.
And even though it was in the trailer, seeing it in the movie still made me laugh when they're doing the "We Are Venom" and they're all unison. And he's like, "We have to work on that.
We have to work on that.
Yes, we are. No, we are Venom." And he's
What did that thing just do? She phoned home.
yeah. It's Yeah, the
There were
Venom.
at least memorable lines from it, because there's been very few comedies lately that there's been anything that
I
is
am gonna
memorable.
use Luck is a fickle. Lady
Yeah.
Luck is a fickle.
Lady Luck
slut.
is a fickle slut.
For that's probably going in my repertoire for the rest of my life.
I need more money, Eddie.
You used it all. This is terrible. Which is funny because we're getting questions about places to gamble. So,
Yep.
which I feel like those are bad ideas, but that's another conversation. The most unbelievable part is Eddie not immediately getting swarmed by security after kicking the slot machine.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. Also the fact that there would be bouncers at the door to a mainline casino in Las Vegas is retardedly stupid. You're just walking. Yeah, they're like, there's a dress code to get into Paris casino. It's like, no, there isn't.
Right.
I've been to that casino. I've seen the cargo shorts and the stuff. Like,
That's all of
Slender,
Vegas at this
that's
point.
all of Las Vegas. They're not stopping it. If you've got the money to go play a slot machine, they're saying welcome.
Hell, last time I was walking through Vegas, most of the girls were not girls you would want to see in bikini tops, but that's what they were wearing throughout most of the hotels in the summer.
Matt is saying, okay, now I'm a country roadologist and have the answer. The couple who wrote the song were inspired by a road trip down 81, which was Western Virginia. Oh, yeah. 81 is right off where I live. So, yeah, it's 81 runs straight down from the Winchester at the top, right before the West Virginia border, all the way down to like Blacksburg, where Virginia Tech is, going down into Tennessee. It doesn't actually cross into West Virginia at all. So if it was them driving on 81, then it definitely was about Virginia proper.
You didn't read the second part, did you?
The couple had never been to West Virginia, nor had John Denver. The song was originally going to be about Massachusetts, but they couldn't get the chorus to work. Western Virginia didn't sound as good. So they just
So
changed.
the whole fucking song is a lie, basically.
It just shattered my
How quick
illusions.
Slender turns.
Fucking phony.
Slender is a fickle slut.
He's a phony. He's a phony.
See, the line works. This was Eddie when he's talking to the people fighting the dogs. No, this is for you. Don't do this.
So when
That's
the
the one
police,
guy in the
so
cage. Bad boy.
Wait a minute. When the police sang "Walking on the Moon," does that mean they'd never actually been there? These fuckers. They had me fooled.
There was
I was going to say I liked Last Dance better than the second one.
I liked it better than the second one. The only scene that made absolutely no sense and made me roll my eyes and get kind of pissed at the writing. I mean, none of the story is all that great. It's not a great plot, but the horse scene, which we all saw in the trailer, like 2 seconds before that, he's explaining why he can't be in full form as Venom, because that will automatically let the bad guy track you.
No, when he's on Eddie.
Anytime he was separated from Eddie, they were able to see him, weren't they?
No, it was only when he was in the full form on Eddie that it would that the codex would turn on.
Okay.
Because it's a link between the host that you brought back from the dead and the symbiote. So if he took over another human or animal or thing, it wouldn't turn on.
Okay, that makes more sense then.
Yeah, so as long as it wasn't, that's why it was silly. I mean, it was fun in the sense that it was funny when they were dancing around to ABBA, because that's always funny. Like, I did like the line where Eddie was like, "When did you guys rehearse this?"
Right.
But the Venom knows that as soon as he goes into that mode, it's a homing beacon that they can see.
Eric, I bet I know the other line you laughed at when they first meet the family, and the guy introduces the whole family and says the kids' names, and then Venom's like, "Lifetime in therapy."
Yeah.
You're dooming them to a lifetime of therapy.
It's like, These people are weird, Eddie. Like, no, you know what got me? When they sit down at the barbecue where they're camping, and the guy's like, nothing died on that plate, and Venom throws the plate away and he's like, no. It's fun. It's just fun stuff like that. What I like about the Venom movies is they're stupid and they're cheesy, but they're just trying to be fun movies. There's no like Chihuahua Ejiofor was playing the general in charge of the thing. Guess what? I didn't have to hear about once, like why, like that he, like anything about minority status or this or that, or when, a woman was in charge of the science program, that none of that just even came up.
Right.
It was old fashioned where the government scientist and the soldier were disagreeing because the soldier wants to kill it and the scientist wants to be friends with it. And it was
I
like,
never have a problem seeing Juno Temple.
Yeah. Well, now go ahead, Slender.
I said, no, the scientist wants to study it.
Well, and specifically be friends with it in this movie.
Yeah, she trusts it. The military doesn't.
Lame.
She
Then it
thinks
turns
the
out that they
symbiotes
should
are
have.
here to be friends, and then they are friendly. At least this batch, which is directly contradictory to what we've seen in Venom 1 and Venom 2, which is every other symbiote being homicidal, murderous, terrible things.
Including Venom at the start.
One area where this improves on the last two is having characters outside the main characters for Venom to protect. So there's actual stakes. Yeah, that's why I thought the family coming back was important, because it helped anchor that he has to, the lethal protector, right? That he's actually trying to be heroic.
Right. Yeah. So I saw a review of it and it kind of summed it up really nicely for me. I mean, it was a good popcorn movie, but it needed 20 minutes less at the same time that it also needed 30 minutes more to kind of flesh out the end. You could have cut 20 minutes of the movie, but it felt like the end just kind of was like, okay, I mean, we're doing flashbacks and then it's just done. So
they basically do
I'm having that problem with a lot of movies lately, though, where the ending just kind of like, almost like the people who wrote it didn't have a good ending, so they're just like, and it's over.
Well,
right,
in this
especially
one,
like this ending a trilogy, they felt the need to do the same kind of thing that Deadpool and Wolverine did, but they did it in the credits.
well, and in this, it reminded me a lot, even though nobody died, of what they did in the Fast and the Furious when Paul Walker, when they were giving him his character the send off. In, I think, what was that, Fast 8, 7 or 8, which
Who
8,
knows?
whichever number it was, where he had died before the movie got released.
6.
No, it was either 7 or 8.
Right.
I want to say it might have been 8, because I think it was the Fate of the Furious where he was in it but had passed away. It's where they do, and it was, look, I'll admit it, I really, even though Paul Walker wasn't anything like to me special, I thought it was a really nice send off. The way the movie spent that time to give a goodbye to him. And when Hollywood, it was one of the things where Hollywood did that. So in Venom, they're doing it is a nice, like, they're acknowledging that, look, this is the most successful movie they've done outside of Spider-Man with the characters they have from the Spider-Man rights. Actually, the only one that's ever been successful outside of the Spider-Man movies. And so it was nice to do the little montage of the silly, goofy, funny part, because I think they also leaned in the fact that the thing that made it memorable wasn't Venom like action. It was just the character moments with Eddie and Venom.
Yeah, the buddy cop stuff.
It was it's like a funny buddy cop movie where the other cop is internally bonded to you.
Yeah. No,
Oh,
I
yeah,
thought
it
it
was-
was I thought it was
7.
a fun movie.
It was 7, yeah. Addressing Paul's passing gave Furious 7 a heart. Yep. So chat always has the answers. Chat is undefeated with being able to get those opinions. Matt will somehow look it up and say that he figured it out in chat after
course.
everybody else. But yeah, so I would actually, if you liked any of the previous Venom movies, I would say go see it. You'll matinee, not full price. If you've got a movie subscription to a theater, that's the best deal. But otherwise, if you're the kind of person who was okay with Venom but didn't care and just watched it at home, then just wait till it's on streaming. But if you genuinely enjoyed it, it's a fun time in the theater. You'll enjoy, like Brahma said, that review does sum it up. Even though it's getting released in October, it's kind of just like a summer popcorn movie where you're just going to have a decent time. You'll laugh, and you'll
Don't
come
think
out
about
of
it too much.
Yeah, you'll come out of the theater pretty happy with what you saw.
Yeah,
The
and
end,
even the action sequences weren't bad. I mean,
no,
they were
as
enjoyable, but the comedy was what actually got me on the movie.
oh
I enjoyed the comedy more than I cared about the fights.
like you said, there's like the Lady Luck is a fickle slut made me laugh out loud.
Oh, that whole scene. I mean, we're
Yeah.
giving away one line from it, but that whole
Yeah.
scene was hilarious.
Yeah, it does, and it's because especially if you're someone who doesn't gamble and you've watched people who do, it's
Yeah.
a fun thing.
And the sing along was funny. It just felt like it went on about a minute too long, but I thought it was pretty funny. Almost any time that Venom's voice is in there doing something goofy, it'll get you a laugh.
I did not think about this, but it was, that is true. There's an interesting visual parallel with the end of this and No Way Home, with them both ending at the Statue of Liberty, Peter being forgotten and Venom being remembered. I mean,
It's an interesting.
It's deeper than I could see that being planned, but it's I didn't even think of it at the time, but it does kind of fit because the movie does start exactly at the No Way Home sequence where you saw him travel to the Marvel universe and be like, wait, you have superheroes here?
Oh, that was another great line right at the beginning.
I'm sick of this
Multiverses are
multiverse
shit.
Let's go home. Then we're back home. It also was a good cue for why this. I thought it was funny that actually did sort of trigger the event where it almost acted like as a little bit of a ping on like a sonar, like where Venom was when they did that multiverse hop. So,
yep.
Trust me, it's funny if you gamble and relatable too. Yeah. So if you're a gambler, you might drink it. Yeah. So I thought it was pretty good. I know Slender hadn't seen it. Brahma, did you do it your normal way of seeing this kind of thing?
Yeah, because I was told we were going to review it last night, and then nobody else saw it. So
nobody else bothered watching it.
Yeah, apparently they all forgot about it. So we
reviewed
reviewed Agatha instead.
Didn't even know it was out.
You're actually reviewing Agatha? Oh,
gross.
That's
even Mad had to watch all the Agathas.
Oh, nobody's watching it. The ratings are terrible.
Well, the show's terrible.
Let's see if Nielsen dropped their new ratings. And Agatha all along is managed to add on its, the first 2 episodes premiered. So on its 3rd episode, it dropped to number 10 with 365 million minutes watched, which is, I don't know, let me see the runtime for episode 3.
About 30 minutes, 26, 27 minutes.
All right. So if you take the
Bad Take is the only one in Comics' chat that likes Agatha. Although we've all basically said it's not the worst show. It's just, it really is just made for wine ants.
What are you trying to say about Tina?
We've heard lots about Tina. I'm sure
that's true. That's true. What is it? What's the line? You know what clip I need is the is from the WWE with Kurt Angle. Oh, it's true.
It's true.
Damn true.
It's damn true.
that would be. I would be able to use the shit out of that clip. I'm gonna have to get it. Yeah, this is probably something where if you're gonna watch it, binging it would probably be better. Where you could,
like pulling off a Band-Aid, just do it all at once, real quick.
So this is the problem with like these streaming shows. They're built to be watched almost as one continuous story. but now that they're moving to the weekly release, it doesn't work as well.
But
If
this
you're
one
gonna-
is extremely formulaic. It's the same thing happens in every episode. It's literally they find a challenge. One of the witches is the key to the challenge. Witch dies. They go on to next challenge. So binging it, and you're basically watching the same episode over and over and over until we get to these last two, and maybe they'll change it up some.
Let's see. Wanda's my favorite character in the MCU. I mean, I don't blame you. Elizabeth Olsen's not bad to look at,
But she is not in this in any
but she's
way.
not it. I think one of the characters. Well, I guess that's a spoiler, so I shouldn't say. There's one of the characters is supposed to be tangentially related to, aside from Agatha. So if you
Right.
watch it, that'll be a plot thread that comes
Gets
up.
revealed about episode 5.
Yeah, the weekly release is better from a selling advertising and getting people to do conversation. Like, honestly, if I was doing YouTube full time, having shows released weekly would be way better for me as a YouTuber
Yeah.
or as a content creator, only because the binge model might get you 2 days of videos before people move on. And
Exactly. I mean,
versus this one.
even with the good stuff. I mean, look at like Cobra Kai.
Yep.
You release it binge style, and we talk about it for maybe 2 or 3 days, maybe a week tops, because you didn't get to talk about it on the day it released, so you get it on the next week's show. But outside of that, doesn't come up again.
Let's see. Good Take really enjoys the scenes with Aubrey Plaza. Look, if you want to see Aubrey Plaza in a Marvel property, and where she really just goes crazy, I would say go watch Legion, because her character in that was like all over. Like, it really fit for Aubrey Plaza, and Legion was a much better show. It was out there. It was Noah Hawley, if you know how he's done things with Fargo, but it still ties. It's as crazy as it is. It's very, to me, Chris Claremont X-Men. Like, it's kitschy and weird, and like is going very trippy 70s late, kind of stuff. 70s rock fan kind of knows, if you've watched Legion, right?
Yes.
Yes,
It's pretty good, yeah.
yeah, Legion was great. And
And
who
if he
was the
just
lead?
likes the way she looks, Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates was pretty funny with her.
Or what was funny was what was the one where she played the overachieving lifeguard, and it was set in the
To-do
late
list.
Yeah, that I actually thought that it made me laugh. Not gonna, where Aubrey Plaza was a virgin, and before she went to college, she wanted to try. It was a very teen comedy kind of thing.
Yeah.
She's making her list of trying to check off all the boxes to be prepared for college.
I still think she sounds like a shopping mall.
Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah.
She's from Delaware.
What does Delaware?
It's the sister tower to Nakatomi.
Nakatomi. That's right. Nakatomi's in Aubrey Plaza.
Legion and Fargo is awesome. He's going to kill it next year with Aliens Earth on FX. Yeah, I'm intrigued to see what he does with that. He's doing a Alien show on FX. And
yeah,
Noah Hawley is done for
like connected to the movies?
Yes,
Alien?
it's
Okay.
going to be set on Earth, like basically with a rival company to Weyland Yutani in the future deal. So I don't know. I trust Noah Hawley to actually make something that's interesting and fun to watch. So
what's the company?
We shall see.
What's the company in Blade Runner? They should make it that company.
Oh yeah, because that was supposed to eventually be one of their competitors too.
That's where the synths come from.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm terrible. I can't remember the name of the company, but I've only seen the movie about 40 times.
Yeah, and Timothy Oliphant is the lead, and I think Timothy Oliphant is a good charismatic actor. I still stand on the fact that The Girl Next Door is one of the funniest, teen romantic comedies of
Tyrell
the area.
Corporation. Sorry, Tyrell.
That's right.
Tyrell Corporation. Yeah,
Man.
Timothy Oliphant's great, pretty much. In most
You
things
know,
he does.
speaking of lines that stick with you from the girl next door, is the juice worth the squeeze, man? Is the juice worth this? When it's the best piece of advice you could give a teen college kid if they stick with it. Look, in the end, you just do the analysis. You're gonna have consequences for what you're doing. Is it worth it? Be prepared. Make sure that that's good. Yeah. So Emily, look at this. Agatha all along. You want to talk about something that's actually a hit, and I think this is the weirdest thing. They're rehabbing the image of Eric and Lyle Menendez, where this movie is this thing is basically going with their murder defense, which was they were abused kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The latest
okay.
the latest documentary that is like How to Make a Murderer.
I'm depraved on account of I'm deprived, in other words.
And look, this is where I have things like I can be sympathetic to the circumstances that you live through. Where I disagree is that you were a well-off person. You didn't have to then resort to murdering your family and trying to make it covered up so you
Two
could get the
wrongs don't
inheritance.
make a right, yeah.
They
And then
clearly
go spend all the money because you definitely planned this.
Yeah, so there's if you want me to be sympathetic, you better show me that you tried to leave and they wouldn't let you, that you were being forced to live there, that you didn't murder them to get insurance money and inheritance, that you were just genuinely trying to maybe protect yourself. Nope, that's not what the Menendez. They put them in sweater vests or sweaters. I mean, those of us who were old enough to remember living through this, it was such a joke. Like these guys were in their early 20s.
Yeah.
And they put them in
Yuppies.
they put them in these if this is also in the news, these Abercrombie and Fitch like pastel sweaters.
Yeah, the pastel blue sweaters.
Yep.
They were fucking weird.
And that batshit crazy lawyer they had, the frizzy-haired blonde lawyer, who was like, out there like they were just innocent boys. I was like, they're in their 20s.
Yeah, that's not a boy.
The Menendez brothers are in the background of a Mark Jackson basketball card. They had gotten front row seats at MSG. That is interesting. It's always fun when they see that kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't like that's a Ryan Murphy thing. He really likes doing that kind of. I'll admit I watched the OJ show that they did, and I found it entertaining just because they didn't ever try to cover the fact that OJ was a killer. Like it was more about like the lawyers in the trial.
Yeah, the ongoings during the trial. Yeah.
With this one, I think they're clearly leaning into the.
They're trying to clear him.
Yeah, they're going for that, and I don't want to sound like the old it's like I lived through that. I remember it. They were not innocent, sweet children.
No, they were like they had no feelings. They were psychos. They were scary.
Yep. And they
felt no remorse for what they did. None.
I remember it was one of the first times I had like a pop culture like instant connection where when they were showing them on like the court TV stuff, and it just popped into me like the Quint speech from Jaws, like they have cold eyes, dead eyes.
Yeah.
like a doll's eyes.
Like a doll's eyes. The Menendez brothers, they were like they were trying hard to look nice, but you could see in their eyes they were just cold-blooded, crazy killers. And the next thing Ryan Murphy is apparently doing is a John Wayne Gacy. That's the next subject for the murders, show, or monsters. I don't know. I mean, that guy is. I don't. Allegedly, he's going to do it from the perspective of. I guess the movie or TV show is going to start after he's in jail, when it's all these Hollywood people like talking to him, because he was the inspiration for Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Psycho. Like he was, he was that kind of crazy where Hollywood people were just always obsessed with trying to understand and make a movie with him as the basis for the killer. I don't know. I just don't like the idea of like glamorizing any of these people, because he did it. Like, you remember when Dahmer came out and like women were like, he's a sex symbol now, and I was like, do you know who Jeffrey Dahmer was?
So have you been
Damn.
following what's been going on with the Menendez brothers since Netflix has come out with this?
Yeah, I know Kim Kardashian is trying to champion that they were railroaded by the justice system. And
just Thursday this week, the Los Angeles District Attorney George Gascon recommended the Menendez brothers' life without parole sentences be thrown out and they be resentenced and immediately eligible for parole. And there is going to be a hearing before a judge on that.
I just know that all right, in the middle, like in Los Angeles, hippy dippy city that it is, Gascon or whatever is his, like, was it 70-80% of his district attorneys have signed letters trying to get him fired.
Yeah, he's hated recalled from all sides, left,
like, because
right, and
he's
center.
So terrible.
And that's one of his big programs is he had instituted a program to go back and look at high profile cases to make sure that it was done right, that kind of stuff, trying to find new evidence.
It's in the 90s, district attorneys wanted to make their bones by prosecuting and convicting these people,
putting criminals in jail.
In the 2020s, these prosecutors want to make their bona fides by releasing them.
Yep.
It's upside down world, man. Oh, look, Mr. McMahon made an appearance on Netflix. So apparently that.
Yeah, I still haven't gotten to watch that.
Interesting.
What's that about?
It's a full series on Vince McMahon.
McMahon. Okay, yeah. Sorry,
He does not come. Shock. He does not come off well.
Gee, who'd think that?
Yeah,
you'd think he would have learned after the other documentaries that they've done.
You know who is
Beyond the Mat?
Yeah, you know who is in position to do very well is Linda McMahon, who is heading Donald Trump's presidential transition office.
Really?
Trump used Undertaker's theme as a entry again today, but wearing the black MAGA hat.
Nice.
Oh,
Trump
and
is having a good time.
The Rogan podcast got released a couple hours ago.
They did 3 hours. Kamala couldn't do 2 minutes on CNN, even with Anderson Cooper trying to help her.
She could, but she'd be a broken record that said the same 2 minutes worth of words over and over and over again.
We're gonna have so many clips for Sunday again, because
from Rogan.
Like, is building? No, I was talking about just Kamala. Like, is building a
her.
border wall stupid? What? Trump.
Well, the best thing I saw
Trump
lately was she was doing some sort of town hall or whatever, and part of the crowd started chanting Trump.
Yeah.
The look on her face, and you hear her say it. Oh, this is not good.
Let's see. Shifty's telling the episode 5 and later is where the entertaining stuff with McMahon comes in.
Apparently, if you want to just dive into politics for a second, Joe Biden made a speech today where he eulogized Gabby Giffords as if she was dead. She's actually alive, but
come on,
this
isn't a joke. 70s.
He read a
come on, man.
For her.
I'm not joking.
She was my
this
friend.
Is real.
She was
Listen.
this. She was that. She's still alive.
I mean, it's in the same way that this.
But
no offense.
Is he?
All right. Here's where I'll give Joe a little benefit. If you looked at the difference between Brady, the press secretary, who led famously to the Brady bill, what he was like before and after he got shot in the head, and then Gabby Giffords like before and after she got shot in the head.
But she's still
alive. This calls back to our earlier conversation. Not everybody gets magic superpowers after like something happens like that. Sometimes you're losing and not gaining. And the fact that that what's his name, the Senate astronaut who's married to her, Kelly, like trots her out for the purposes of his own political career. Tells me everything I need to know about how much of a jackass that guy is. Like, she should be good for like I'm glad she that she's made it through her rehab and things. She shouldn't be out there doing this kind of stuff. She should be having a real like she should like it's not you can see when they trot her out. It's anyway. I don't like it seems sometimes I feel like they people are clearly working their agenda and are
She's not
abusing
having a Fetterman recovery.
Yeah, she's not there.
Yeah, a couple
she
more
would just-
episodes and Fetterman will be signing up. He'll be joining as a Republican. He'll be switching parties.
Well, no,
He
well,
needs a couple more episodes. He's all the way there.
that's true. I just look at the Agatha all along. I think by next week this drops off.
Well, next week is 2-episode finale, I believe.
No, but the Nielsen is always
yeah.
several weeks behind.
These are just streamers, though.
Yeah,
no,
so
just streamers.
if you go to like the overall list, it's not even clocking in
wouldn't
the
be.
top 10. Grey's Anatomy's there. Isn't that a surprise?
Bluey
Bluey's there.
family. Yeah, lots of older. Yeah.
Inside Out 2 must have dropped on Disney Plus because it popped.
Yep.
It was the number one movie. So
There's that number next to it, what they call impressions.
that's
100
minutes viewed.
minutes viewed.
In the millions.
Yeah, so that's billions. So yeah,
Billions.
so this works. So this is minutes in
In the
millions. So
millions. Okay.
1,818 is 1,818,000,000.
Mm.
Right.
And then, so the rough way that people have been extrapolating, if you take the runtime, if you divide the minutes viewed by the runtime, you're getting roughly the
people.
number of people who watched it all the way through. And that's a real rough number because some people might have watched it more than once. Some people might have stopped after 5
Yeah,
minutes.
but you got to average that out. Yeah.
Exactly. The question that I would always like to get, because I used to work and do advertising, as a business buyer, like I had to buy advertising. And when we did it on cable TV, like on Comcast or something, they could give me the specific demographics, who's viewing it, how long. Like they had all that stuff, These streaming networks, they're Disney and all the rest they do advertising now, but they don't ever release
Tight-lipped about
the
it.
content. Like if I'm an advertiser and they're asking me to pay money, I would want give me this data, and I want it independently verified. Like give me an independent verifier who's telling me, like Nielsen ratings for regular television were pretty accurate, but they're like for the streaming, all they're giving is minutes watched. They don't have any which demo's watching it. Like I don't have any of the drill down data. Is it women? Is it men? What age group? What is their income level? Cable television was great because Comcast knew from the boxes. One of the things you agree to when it's cable television is you're basically it has to be anonymous. They can't give the name, but they can give you the metadata. So when as an advertiser with Comcast, I could say I want to appeal to women age 22 to 55. What networks are the ones where I'm going to see that with this income level? And they were like, here's the top 5 channels for that demo. And I could put my ads right on there and see the increase from the people I wanted. But streamers don't give you any of that. Davina is right. As the economy goes off the rails, advertisers will be more discerning about their ad spends. That's already happened in YouTube. Like I know that one of the reasons so many bigger channels were getting demonetized, I think YouTube didn't want to share the revenue.
Mm.
They're still putting ads on those channels. They're just not sharing it anymore because you're not in the partner program. Not like our boy Brahma, who just got monetized.
Oh, he's made millions already.
No, millions of
He's retired overnight.
millions in whatever the lowest cryptocurrency is. Millions.
Yeah, I mean, I've been monetized for a while, but I don't know. I mean, just to be brutally honest, probably like $150 a month with ads and super chats. That's about it.
I mean, I wouldn't mind that.
Small channel. That's what you get.
I mean, it would at least cover basically my software costs that for doing this stuff. And
I mean, I can claim certain expenses against it when I do my taxes. So really, it's okay. I put more into it usually than I've ever got out of it in terms of spending. So.
Oh no, unless you get like hit that big jackpot.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't
You're-
do it for money per se. It was good to get monetized because it helped support me keeping doing it, you know. Anyway.
Yeah, Hulu, Eric, to this, when I was Comcast would actually gave me the option of putting my ads on Hulu. Like at the time, this was when Hulu was the partnership between like Comcast, Disney, and the rest. When you could get a package where your ads could also air on Hulu, and Comcast would give you the Hulu data the same way. Like you could get all the drill down. They knew exactly who was watching it. So they have it. They just don't like, I think Disney doesn't want to tell anybody about it because their numbers must be, like Davina said, those streaming numbers are completely off. I think once they have to release like genuine numbers to advertisers, it's like the emperor has no clothes.
Game over, man.
That's that's the game over moment for streaming, because Netflix is really the only one who makes money off streaming. And if the general like public knew how bad the losses were, they would probably have to merge.
I just can't stand watching adverts, so I try to avoid any situation where I'm forced to watch them. And I did have Amazon Prime, but the minute they brought in the ads on it, I cancelled it. So only one I've got now is Netflix.
Yeah.
What were you guys talking about in the 3 minutes that I was gone that I come back to this in the chat?
I would even cancel Netflix if it wasn't for my wife wants to keep it. So.
Yeah, Soul Assassin. Watch Ascendant Art going to start noticing how Brahma changed. What happened to you, Brahma? You used to be cool. After being monetized, you changed, man. You changed.
Now.
Doesn't even show up on time for the show anymore. Just disappearing whenever he wants.
I said in the private chat, I'll be right back. I have the piss.
We have been used and cast aside. We
Talks over
understand,
everybody.
Brahma.
You'll be hanging out on. It'll be Friday night tights next, and you know all the big shows.
Next thing you know, I'll only show up when you have females on the panel.
Yeah.
Eric says I took the D plus Hulu Max no ads bundle. Like, here's the thing: if it's a streaming service you really watch a ton, having no ads is worth. Most of my viewing time is spent YouTube now. I will not. I will not give up YouTube Premium. Because
you get a lot. Like, it's such a good deal because you get YouTube Premium, so you get the commercial free viewing, you get access to a whole bunch of shit that most people don't have access to, and it basically replaces Pandora or Spotify because it's also a music service.
YouTube Music.
I don't have YouTube Premium and I don't see ads.
Just using an ad blocker.
Well, somebody just got kicked off YouTube.
Well, I know that YouTube and Google are shutting uBlock down starting in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, so Premium obviously you're talking about getting the music with YouTube Premium and ad free. What else do you get? You mentioned there was other stuff.
They give you, I think, what is it? You get a better enhanced bit rate, so like you're actually getting the full 1080p quality instead of a filtered one. You get YouTube Music, which is full on Spotify at this point. It lets you download, make playlists.
Oh, that's pretty.
You get offline viewing of YouTube videos. You can download YouTube videos to the app and watch them offline.
Yeah.
You can also watch some movies and shit for free.
Well, there's a lot of movies on there I've noticed, and some that are with ads. I guess you get to watch those without ads. But are there other movies that are hidden to normal?
Yeah, I think they do have some ones that are just for the premium level where you'll get access to them.
I had thought about it in the past because the music seemed appealing, getting that, you know.
Also, I don't know why, but it told me that since I'm a premium member, I can use their prototype conversational AI that they just started trying to roll out. So I don't know what it does, but I have access to it.
Yeah, you can get some beta features that aren't available to others as well.
Yeah, I also, and if you do like the family plan, you can share it. I think is it 5 or 6 people?
5, I believe.
Yeah, so at that, I think that one is like $20
a month. Yeah,
a month. But if you divide that over the 5 people who are sharing it, it's the equivalent of like $4 or $5 a month, which, as streaming services go, is probably the least costly. And YouTube has the most content I mean, as much as we like all these other shows, YouTube, has content coming out the wazoo. You get every kind of content on YouTube.
Oh, I watch YouTube
Yeah.
for most things. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's I've been when I end up having like to watch YouTube on someone else's PC and it has that ad break, it pisses me off so much.
Like
And-
log in under mine.
Every once in a while, one of my daughters will be watching YouTube and she'll want to show me something, right? So I come down there and I watch it, and the commercials kick in because she has never added herself to the system, right?
Hmm.
And it's gotten so much worse over the years. It used to be like you got a commercial like after about 30 minutes, and then like another 30 minutes you get another commercial and you're good, right? Now it's like you're gonna get 3 commercials at a time every 5 minutes. I don't know how people do it.
Is it the same ones over and over? Because that drives me crazy too.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
it's all
same-
political. It's all politics now too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like during campaign
Again.
season, it is just all political ad after
same one
political ad
again
after
and again
political
and
ad.
again. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, on the plus side, I just got somehow I'm on the email list for Harris Waltz campaign. I don't know how.
So am I,
Boy.
but they keep calling me by different names over and over and over.
Yeah.
Hey, Sharon, we've noticed that you haven't donated to the Kamala
Sure.
Harris campaign.
At
Hello,
least this,
Brahma
Don't know what
cow.
information you're
I
getting.
could see you as Sharon. I could see
Yeah.
that.
this is this one is good though. We won't mince words. NBC News has published a poll deeply concerning for our campaign. Donald Trump has gained 5 points against Vice President Harris, and now we are tied. Our future rides on this, and we've checked, and you haven't made a donation. So, delete.
Check this.
But- delete.
Yeah.
Ah.
Indeed.
So we're gonna talk about this fucking thing you put up on screen.
No.
Good.
After he answers mad in the DMs.
Yeah. You saw that I was typing? Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I wanted to calm Slender down a little bit of this because they made, Netflix makes the official announcement, season 2 coming in January. But just like Velma, I want to remind him that they call it season 2, but these are just the episodes they ordered all at once. So it's shit. They know it's shit, but they can't back out of it now. So they're going to try to get some viewers out of it. So
Everybody, don't watch it. I'll watch it, and I will bring back for you many screen captures and explanations as to why it's so fucking terrible.
Will there be drawings too?
I might
In
draw some
Microsoft
things.
Paint?
I might
Oh.
have to draw some things. It was so fucking bad.
Hello, my name is Slender, and I like to do drawings.
he does like to. I do love when Slender brings infographics to the table for his angry reviews.
Infographics.
The only way for me to properly encapsulate everything I am feeling is to put it all in an infographic.
Let's see. Soul Assassin says, "How did that Tomb Raider anime fare? Not good."
I haven't watched that pile
Yeah.
of shit yet.
What
I
was
haven't heard good
hilarious
things.
is that I did love the side by sides when they were where they took, because Haley Atwell was the voice actress for Laura Croft, and they were like, we can't have Laura Croft have these proportions because there's no woman in real life looks like that. And then they're like, look at Haley
Except for the
Atwell,
one who's voice
I know.
acting her.
except Haley Atwell, who is exactly that kind of
She's
English
stacked.
woman with those proportions where
Big
she
old
has
massive titties.
she has giant breasts, and she's actually half American, so raised in Kansas
So
City,
wait a
in
minute.
addition to
So her
England,
breasts are American, the rest of
which
them
is
English.
corn-fed. She's from Kansas.
Made in the USA.
She has thrown out the first pitch at Kansas City Royals games, and that's why Henry Cavill is a Chiefs fan, because when they dated, he was trying to be like, what is American football? And she was
Would you
like,
put that evil on me, Soul Assassin.
so I'm a big fan of Haley Atwell, so I have a lot of random knowledge.
I believe, isn't she being studied for jiggle physics?
I met her in person, and she is lovely, by the way. She's
Oh.
super nice, not mean at all. Like, you can tell, if you watch at conventions, you can see the way people like try to shush you through the line versus people who like, the Gina Carano experience where they're very friendly and they chat with you and they take the time to actually like spend. You know who else is really like that? Carrie Elways. If you have a lady in that age group, Carrie Elways is a really cool person to meet. He does this. He actually does a thing where he at his like table behind it, he puts up like one of those like a pop up. What do they call it? Like gazebo type thing? Like the tent covers.
Yeah.
And he screens it, and people are like, "Oh, he's a jerk." No, my wife was one that wanted to meet him because she loves Princess Bride, and he was probably one of her first crushes. And so when she was talking to the people, like before you meet him, like, why does he do that? It's like because Carrie doesn't want any artificial pressure when someone comes in to meet him and talk with him. So they put the screen up so people, it takes whatever time it takes, and there's no one like staring or giving you mean looks. It's while you're taking, and the other line's not moving. So he does that, for whatever the experience, the fan who's taking the time to meet him and pay for an
So that
autograph.
Kamala's staff can't stop the interview.
Yeah, exactly. And then that way they can leave. And he's like, oh, that's super nice, because when you're in lines and you're talking with the person and you can see the people behind you will get annoyed, like if they think you're taking too much time and it's holding them up or whatever.
It's quite
Right.
embarrassing if you're at the front of the line for somebody. In the VIP line, particularly for ones that got and you're standing talking to whoever it is, and you're there for ages, and you can sense hundreds of people behind you getting really pissed off.
Yeah, Bad Take Bojan says Vinny Tartamella also met her and said she was absolutely delightful. She was. It was funny because when I met her, my wife was pregnant at the time, because this was years back, and I was bringing up, and she was like, what are you? I was like, I thought you were really great in that Black Mirror episode. It's really interesting. My wife's pregnant right now. She's like, you watched that while your wife's pregnant? Oh no. Like, because the storyline.
She an English accent. Hello.
Yeah.
This was just Chad's way to tell Haley Atwell, I'm fertile. Look.
I'm virile. Yeah, I'm virile.
No, it was. You want to. So my approach has always been, when I meet the celebrities at a convention, they always hear about the same projects again and again and again and again. Right. So if you're actually like, ask them about or talk about something that's different, and they'll be more chatty because they appreciate that. Like when I met
Gina about being Tanya in Command and Conquer.
I bet that would end up getting her off on like a 10-minute tangent.
Yeah.
But when I met Michael Rooker, everyone else was Guardians of the Galaxy.
All rats.
I went up to him and I was like, why don't you have more Tombstone stuff? And he was like, he looked at like his handler friend person. It was like, I told you we needed to bring more Tombstone stuff. You never believed me. People loved me in Tombstone. I was like, you kicked ass in Tombstone. He's like, right, I know. Yeah, I know. And so that's always a good approach, right? If you want, because
if you know their career, it's always going to impress them. I mean,
and if you go to these conventions, they hear it's whatever the hot nerd thing is all they're going to hear about all day. So if they usually have more stuff they've been in, don't go up to Michael Rooker and be like, Yondu was great. Be like, hey, you were also, like Brahma said, Cliffhanger was great. Or go up and be like, I loved you in Days of Thunder, man.
Go up and say, you were Yondu.
Would you like a chocolate pretzel?
Yeah, would you like a chocolate pretzel?
It's like a buddy of mine years ago met Jerry Lawler he was doing a meet and greet, some wrestling show by me. And he said he was one of the nicest guys he ever fucking met. He's sitting there talking to him. He's kind of complaining because it was in my old high school. He's complaining like, Jesus, man, this place is fucking hot. It was in the summer, and my buddy's like, oh yeah, buddy of mine went to high school here. He's like, oh, that poor bastard. And they're talking, and he's like, all right, man, nice talking to you, King. Nice meeting you, blah, blah, blah. He goes to walk away, and King's like, where are you going? I don't have a line. Hang out and shoot the shit with me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember met Jennifer Hale, the femshep, at Mass Effect, and I think I spent the whole weekend hanging out with her at the convention in Dallas. She was really nice,
One of the coolest guys that I've met at a convention that just was like, just hang around, just chat. James Marsters from Buffy. He played Spike.
Yeah.
He was he's also not English, so that's always funny when people realize he's an American, like he's from Southern California and he was faking the
Fake
English
British
accent.
accent.
Yeah, so he was like he's exactly like that. He'll just be like, "Hey, there's no line, just hang out. What's up? Like, where are you guys doing?" And he's a fun guy. And some guys are like that. Kevin Sorbo is super nice. And
Most of
like
the
when
bands I've met over the years have been really chill too. There's only one that I can think of at the top of my head that was a bunch of dickbags.
you know who was interesting? It was Walking Dead people when it was really, really huge. Like this, so this is around the early 2010s when it was breaking and it was this mega hit. And they were all at the convention circuits, and they were like big timing people like Quarter Black, Big Times Mad, everywhere they could go. Like it was even the kid who was it not Carl, like
Carl.
the girl who got killed and was in the barn.
Yeah.
The daughter.
Like she would show
Carl's
up and try to like pull diva shit. And I was like, you were in like 5 episodes. And yeah, you had the really dramatic moment of turning into a zombie for the reveal. You've done nothing else. You're not going to do, odds are, I hate to break it to you, you're not going to do anything else for a long time. Don't try to like be a diva.
No, Norman Reedus is okay. I've met him.
Oh yeah, but he was around a long time before he hit with Walking Dead.
Yeah, but even at the height of that, when he had his motorbike show out, me and my wife, we just chatted to him about that for 5 minutes. He absolutely loved it. His cycling tours he does, and the show he did about that.
Yeah,
well, speaking of cycling, the Sons of Anarchy guys would show up to like motorcycle rallies and stuff and hang out.
Nice.
I wouldn't see them I didn't go to cons, but when I was doing the motorcycle rallies and stuff, those guys would show up all over the country.
Davina says she'd like to meet David Lynch. That would be interesting because I'd have a lot of questions I'd want him to explain. I'd be like, look, I think you're a cool guy, but you've made some weird shit. I watched Eraserhead for a film class, and that shit still doesn't make. I don't know what the fuck was going on in that movie, or short film, I should say. I was like, I've watched Twin Peaks a few times, trying to figure it out. What the hell's going on in Twin Peaks? And God help me if I ask him about the one with Naomi Watts, like in Hollywood. What was the name of it? Like something Boulevard or Highway. It's weird movies. David Lynch does weird stuff. Mulholland Drive, yeah. Because I was like, what is going on in this movie? They had like Naomi Watts was really hot and the other girl was really hot, and they got they were lesbian together, but I don't understand the plot at all.
So they were lesbian together.
Another guy that
they were lesbian friends.
Could they be lesbian apart? Another Scott Wilson was nice. He was in Walking Dead. I met him because Herschel.
Oh yeah,
we talked to him and we got a signed thing of In Cold Blood, the movie In Cold Blood. He was in 1967. His first movie.
That's the other thing. I think
so we had chatted for that for about 10 minutes because there wasn't a big lineup. So we just
I think when an actor has had a long career before they get like their big thing, they're more appreciative of getting attention, so they don't like try to big time you.
And you like the fact that we knew that film because it's 1967. It was way back.
I like Davina over here. Like, I don't need Lynch to explain anything. I just like to hang out with him. Well, I'm sorry, I have questions.
What's your favorite David Lynch movie?
Dune.
I do like Dune 84. It's got every version of Dune has good points that I like better than, like, each version has something it does better than the other. It's weird to say that, but they do.
Yeah.
And so that was the first time I loved Dune. I watched the Lynch movies before I read the book.
Yep.
And I do think if you see the movie before you read the book becomes like an extended, deeper, like it's an extended cut. And you get more out of it. So I don't have any bitterness about what they didn't adapt right. So and
same exact situation for me. I saw the movie, then I read the book.
It's just it's like Jurassic Park. When I was in middle school, I watched the movie first, then I went and read the book. and the book was very different. And I was like, oh, I can see why fans of the book thought this was shit. But
All of
I
Crichton's
liked it.
stuff was different in the movies.
Yeah. So I think it's Lynch's, and then he's a weird filmmaker because he does all this stuff and then he does a random movie about a sweet old man
Well,
riding a lawnmower to
That's my
visit his
favorite one, The Straight Story.
the straight
I
story.
love that movie. It's so emotional and sweet. And you keep watching, you keep waiting for a David Lynch moment.
That's I know. I
And there's-
watched it.
it
And I was
never
like,
happens. It's
I
beautiful.
swear, like I thought at the end, like some serial killer was gonna murder
That's
him, and
right,
it was
yeah.
just
So
gonna,
I was
like
waiting
somebody,
for it.
like some weird guy in a closet was gonna be there. Dennis Hopper taking hits of whatever.
Chainsaw comes out with a chainsaw. Yeah, it's
Uh,
nothing. It was beautiful, a beautiful, heartwarming movie. The only bit was when the deer got hit by the woman in the car, and she's writing off. It's the prairies. It's flat as a pie. She says, "Where does it come from? It's the third time I've hit one of these. It's just flat for miles. Where do they come from?" You know? But that's a beautiful, beautiful movie. It's my favorite, I think. Even though I like all the other ones.
There is, yeah, it is on. It's actually it is on Blu-ray. It's an older copy. I know I got mine from the library. I like to go library sales because you can get a lot of out of print stuff that
Oh,
isn't
yeah.
available, and they'll usually library sales around me. It's like fill the bag and pay $8 now. However
Yeah,
much you
we-
can fit in that bag, you
We
get.
do that here, and they used to charge for them, but now they say take whatever you want and just donate. So you can just fill the bag up, and maybe give them $10, whatever. And
I know.
it's fantastic.
It's a good, like if you are a fan of physical media, discs usually take a lot of plays to wear out.
Mm.
And if you get them and you're worried about that, you can make digital backups and you'll have them pretty much forever.
And we've got a small library. It's a small town, so a lot of the discs have never been played. Some of them were even still in the wrappers. That nobody ever took them out.
Yeah,
So-
because sometimes they get donations, where
Yeah.
people will donate to that kind of stuff. So,
Mm.
it's I've gotten a lot of unopened Blu-rays,
Oh, library sales are
and-
the best. Yeah.
and even if they're charging like before they get to the fill the bag spot, they're selling Blu-rays for $1.
Mm,
I was like, I'm not gonna find a price like that for Blu-rays.
exactly.
So, and my wife's always like, "Do you have enough movies?" And I'm like, "Do I have all of the movies?" And she's like, "No." And I was like, "Then I don't have enough
That's
movies."
right. Yeah. How many
It's
have
like
been
me with
released?
Gunpla.
Yeah. Do I have all of them? No.
No.
So I like this is how good Castlevania Nocturne is, by the way, that we completely just forgot it. And we're talking starting with Haley Atwell having big boobs.
There was nothing worth
Boobs.
talking about.
It's always worth talking about boobs. Hey,
Davina, I suspect some of it comes from bigger towns. Old books and discs circulate from library. There's like some library black
Yeah.
market where they're just sending stuff off. It's like, I got 2 Diary of a Wimpy Kids. I'll take that for a
a 300.
Dog Man
or
and a
whatever.
and a Hunger Games.
You
Oh
know
yeah,
what?
estate sales great for
I
CDs.
got at the library sale, last library sale here in town. I got some HD DVDs. I don't have a player, but I thought I'll take them. Just as a collectible.
That's a bold collector move to get a
Yeah,
defunct
bold collector
system.
move.
It's like,
I've got-
I also bought several laser discs.
Oh, I'd get those
Yeah.
if hey, always take those if you can get them. Yeah,
It was like I have to flip them to get to side B and continue watching my movie.
because
Do you
there's
remember the
actually
first-
some movies that have got different cuts or different edits
Yeah.
on Laserdisc.
And some of the commentary tracks and things are
Yeah.
only on the laser disc. I remember early DVDs where you had to flip it A to B for people to keep watching a movie because they hadn't quite gotten the like compression
Dual layer.
and the dual layers in yet. Original like DVDs only held like 4 or 5 gigs of data, so you needed to do both sides.
4.8.
Yeah, it was like I had a Lethal Weapon DVD I had to flip, and I was like, oh, it's all right, it's good.
But
I'll tell
usually
you
what
what-
it was would be the movie on one side and all the extra features on the other.
Yeah, I
Unless
will
it was
tell
a
you,
seriously long movie.
that Philips Electronics DVD player that I got was a fucking tank, though. That thing lasted from like 1998 to like 2012.
Yeah.
It was a champ.
I'd like to buy an HD DVD player to play the ones I've got now, but they're too
Get one of
expensive.
the which Xbox was it they did it?
Oh, there's
The
an Xbox played them.
360, I believe.
Yeah,
Oh, I
let's
should
get a
one of those.
360. You can get one of those probably cheap.
Forgot about that. Good idea, because I do see these in thrift stores.
Mm-hmm.
HD DVDs.
Actually, 70s, since you do a lot of the thrift store stuff, can you keep an eye out for something for me?
I will.
I'm looking for retro tabletop stuff.
Yeah.
Because trying to get that online, I'm not paying $50 for 38 pages of stuff that might not have everything it came with originally. And it also only sold for $10 back in the 80s.
Yeah, I'll do that, mate. Yeah.
Man, thrift stores are good for finding that shit for
So
nothing.
I got this at thrift store for $1 the other day. So it's Piranha. But you open it. I didn't realize till I got home. You can open. There's a little Velcro thing. You open it up and it goes like this.
Yeah.
That's really neat. That's the
That's
kind of
pretty
thing you can pick up, you know.
Eric is asking what kind of table stuff.
Old
like
D&D stuff.
D&D.
Yeah, mostly D&D stuff, because some of the other systems like Call of Cthulhu and Traveler, that's not really that hard or expensive to find in this day and age.
All right.
But with the state of everything, I have a lot of most everything I need, if not more than what I need on PDF, but having hard copies is nice.
Nice. Davina's saying that the HD DVD player was an add-on.
Oh, is
unit.
it? Oh.
Now
Yeah,
that
it
means
was.
the add-on unit is probably cheap. Maybe if you
Oh,
get to the
You
right.
might still be
if
able
you
to
can
find
find
that, yeah.
one.
Yeah,
I
if
might
you
look
can
for
find
that,
it.
yeah. But the actual HD DVD players are rare and expensive.
I still one of the best deals I ever got on like a tech thing. I had, and it was the first tablet I got for my wife, was one of those HP, HP pads, like the square ones when tablets were a new thing. Like iPads were the only ones, and Samsung and the other ones. And HP built theirs off their proprietary operating system, but no one wanted it, so they just clearanced it. And Best Buy was selling them off for like $60 when the original price for them was like $700. I was like, I'll get you one of those.
Nice.
Like then it was like within 3 months the operating system wasn't even supported anymore. It was like, it'll work for a while, it's fine, we'll download what we need and then it'll just be good to go.
Yeah. Cool. So this is for Brahma. Right. I got this for free the other day.
The
It was
Marine
free at the recycling.
3?
It's called
Oh,
the
yeah?
Marine 3, right? I thought,
Is that
well,
the
I'll
one
take
with
it.
the Miz?
Yes, it's the Miz. Anyway, I took it because it was free, and I had a look at. I've never seen any of the Marine movies, not even the John Cena one.
Yeah.
I looked at the cast list. Jared Keeso and Camille Sullivan from Shoresy are both
yeah?
in this movie.
Huh.
It's hilarious. So I'm going to watch it and see if I can spot them.
Yeah. See if you can spot them.
And the funny thing was, the other one that was being given away free was seasons 1 to 5 of Letterkenny in a DVD set.
I hope you grabbed them.
So I did. So there's two. Those were the two things that were being given for free, and they
Nice.
both have Jared Keeso.
Both
in
Jared
them.
Keeso things.
Yeah,
Somebody
Davina-
didn't like Jared
So
Keeso.
just like Jared Keeso, but I got seasons 1 to 5 of Letterkenny and a DVD set and one for
Nice.
free.
Nice.
Davina says a lot of people probably dying off dumping their old stuff at a estate sale.
Well,
It
that's
is
the
interesting
thing.
to think
Yeah.
about, like if and when I die, what my son will just get rid of when his
Because that's shit.
like, and just like, look at these movies. Nah, whatever. But I'm training
I'm in
him
a
while
weird
he's
state
young.
with that for my dad, because with my dad's case, it's all guns and reloading equipment.
Oh,
That's
okay.
not anything you get rid of.
No,
Oh,
So,
good.
that's Civil War currency right there, man. It's like it's like, how much food preparation do you have? A safe's worth. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like, what does that mean? It's like, because you prepare your food, I'll prepare my safe, and we'll see which one of us ends up eating.
Which one ends up with the food?
it's like I've always said, shit hits the fan. My neighbors have what I need.
Mhm.
I will eat your leftist ass.
No, I'll just slaughter them and take their shit like a Viking would.
Oh yeah, almost every estate sale has tons of vinyl.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I said to my kids, and I say kids because they're both in their 30s, you guys are going to inherit all my records, and they went, we don't want your records. That stuff's given away to charity day one.
Yeah, it's like what is my legacy going to actually be? The stuff like I have a big comic book collection. It's like how much of that left? Because I've been in the comic stores. If you've hung out in comic stores long enough, and I'm sure this is true for a lot of like stores that have that are hobby stores, you've been there when the survivor comes in with like the
Mhm.
box, and they're
Yep.
just like, "Can you just give me like $100 for this?"
I actually have a story about that.
Okay.
When I
Do
worked
tell.
at a hobby store, I was hired to pretty much repair game consoles. And it wasn't hard. It was mostly just cleaning out cartridge ports and cleaning off disc laser lenses, whatever. Owner knew I was a big Silver Age fan. He comes walking back with a stack of comic books in his hand with this big shit-eating grin on his face. I'm like, what you got there? He goes, oh, it's a run of Hulk number 1 through 110. I was like, no shit. He's like, yeah, someone's father or uncle passed away. I don't remember what it was. Not that he said that. So on and so forth. So they didn't know what to do with them. Also turned out they didn't know what they were worth.
That's right. They don't know what
Yeah.
They
He
never
gave them
do.
he gave them $150. Hulk number 1 is in the thousands,
Yeah.
even at that time, for a beat up copy.
Yeah, it's I mean,
And this is a good like 25 years ago or so.
Wow.
sometimes you almost like I was friends with the comic guy, the clerk who did this because I'd been going there for years and I knew about comic values because I'd been going to shows and I'd always negotiate down. And I was like, "What's in? All right, did you look in the box?" And he's like, "Yeah, I looked in the box." I was like, "How much was it worth?" And he's like, "Well," and bear in mind, this was right after Guardians of the Galaxy had come out. He's like, "Well, I noticed right off the bat that they have 5 copies of his first appearance, which right now is shot up to going for about $500-600." And
Of
I
whose
was
first appearance? Star-Lord's?
Rocket Raccoon.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, no shit, because I had seen that. You hear about which books get hot. He's like, so we'll probably turn around and I'll sell one of these at like not graded for a couple $100, and then I'll get the rest graded and probably sell those ones, and then I'm already at that point. He's going to be hundreds of dollars into profit, and we'll see what else we get out of this. And I was like, I looked at it and I was like, there's some good stuff in here. And he's like, I know, but it's not my job to tell him. It's like,
He's got a point.
they're
I mean, you're also never going to get market value for anything like that going to a store.
well.
Like
Then I was like,
when I sold off my Magic cards a few years ago, my cards were worth like 15 grand. I got 1.5.
Mhm. They're only worth what someone's willing to pay for them.
Yep.
At the end of the day, yeah.
it is funny because that is what things on paper like, oh, this is worth that. No, it's what can you get me right now in cash?
Yeah.
If it's if that's what it is, that's what it's actually worth.
I mean, you can chance your luck taking things to auction, for some stuff, but obviously the auctioneer is going to take their cut. But
Yeah,
like
they
the
get,
idea-
what is it, the standards like 20-30%?
30% usually. I sold some stuff in Calgary recently, and I think it was 30%. I still made more money than I thought I was going to make, so that was fine. It was actually booze. I sold a whole lot of whiskey, so collectible stuff. So
Yeah, it just what comes to mind for me is just Pawn Stars, where I was like, yeah, that's retail. Best I can do
Right.
is, they have the appraiser come in. Oh, this is worth $20,000. Okay, that's good. The guys gets real excited, and I was like, well, that's retail. Best I can do
Here's 4,000.
is like
Yeah.
is $1,500. What
It's
is
gonna sit on my shelves for years.
I
And
gotta find the right
Mhm.
buyer. It's gonna just take up space. It's like, and then like, well, I took it because I figured I'm in Vegas. And I should. It was like, you're gonna go gamble that money right away,
mm,
Yep.
aren't you? It's like the best I can. That was the truest thing. The best I can do is this, and then people does. You're like, yeah, I guess I'll take it. Which is why you get funny memes like this one. From a gaming standpoint, EA. Best I can do is $100 cosmetics.
Well, League of Legends has them beat. They released a $500 cosmetic.
Holy shit.
Wait
What
a
was
minute. There was another one.
What was the game that if you actually maxed out all the microtransactions, it would have cost you like $50,000 or something to complete?
Diablo Immortal.
Diablo.
Was it Diablo Immortal? Yeah. Or it's
Yeah.
like some ridiculous $500,000 or something. Like some crazy sum of money. That's nuts.
EA's meme is funny because it's
'Cause it's
true. It is. It's like, EA, we grab you by the ankles and shake till there's nothing coming out and then ask you to apply for credit. An example, Shogun was printed in the thousands, possibly millions. Now it's out of print. They released it in 2 volumes at quadruple the price. And you never know what this thing. So this is why I love when people would talk about this is what you pick up, like whatever field you collect. And people were like, "Oh, I'm going to collect." When people were buying The Death of Superman, and I was only like 10 at the time, and even I knew this. And I'm like, "You're buying." I would go to the store. I wanted to just get my 2 copies because I was going to keep one in the bag where it was sealed up and get one to read. And I saw people buying like a dozen. And it was older people that didn't collect comic books, and they were like, "This is gonna put my," I heard one of them, "This is gonna put my kid through college." And I was like, "No, it's not, mister." I was like, "Do you see? Everyone's getting a copy. The stuff that's worth still is whatever is what was it low print
Limited print.
I mean, and because my dad had told me, and it stuck in my head from when I was a kid, he's like, because he collected baseball cards. He's like, the reason some baseball cards are rare is because in the 50s and 60s, we would put them in our bike spokes. We would do like to make little noises. We didn't treat them well, so there's not as many left that are actually good. So you don't know what's going to be worth something because it'll be like, oh, no one gave a shit about this card, and that becomes the rare. There's only 20 of them that grade well, and that's the same with comic books. When people are like, I wish I had bought The Walking Dead. It's worth this much. Number 1 is worth like $20,000 now or whatever. It's like the reason it's worth that is because
there's a low
Image
print
Comic only did a print run of like 5,000 or 6,000.
That's right.
Because it was a black and white cheap comic. They didn't think there would be that big a market for it. And so there's not very many issues because even of those 5,000-6,000, a lot of them got like picked up and tossed because no one thought it was anything special.
Well, that's, like with old comics, it's the same thing with like what you're saying about old baseball cards. People didn't treat them well back in the day.
Yeah, you weren't bagging and boarding.
No, like case in point, a buddy of mine, he was doing insulation work a few years ago. He's working at this old house upstate New York. They're going to the walls to pull out all the old newspaper insulation. You know what he pulls out of there? A Captain Marvel comic from fucking Fawcett Comics.
Yeah, from that would be the 40s.
Yeah. And he calls me. He's like, "Hey, do you know how much this would be worth?" I'm like, "Take that to a fucking comic store now and buy a bag and a board." He's like, "Why?" I'm like, "Because it's going to be worth at least $1,000. He's like, "Really?" I'm like, "It's from the fucking 40s. 1945 to be exact. December 1945.
I think it was actually, I forget whether it was Appalachian Mountains or some mountain range, the best quality action comics they'd ever found. And I think this one ended up getting auctioned for like a shit ton of money. It's because someone in this, I guess this old cottage or cabin or whatever in the mountains in the woods, they just basically got it, bought it, tossed it into a cedar chest in 1939, and it just sat there until someone found it. So, and because the cedar chest and the altitude and everything, it was perfect conditions, even though it wasn't bagged or boarded. It had completely white pages, no oxidation. Like, this was the most pristine. I think it got graded by CGC as like a 9.8, which is unheard of for one of those comics. And it was just like, this is going to sell for so much fucking money now.
That's the ones you auction then.
You get, because a lot of them are restored. It's like when Wayne Gretzky bought that Honus Wagner card and then found out it was a restored card, and it dropped the value. He had paid like $1 million for it, and then it ended up being worth half that because after he bought it, went through all the real authentication, and they're like, oh, it's actually been restored. There was corners like reattached and all that stuff. You got to be careful, man. But yeah, the copies you don't expect, like whoever bought that didn't care and threw it in a chest and then died or didn't look for 70, 80 years. They find it, and now it's worth $3-4 million. But it's not worth 3 or 4 million because everybody had a copy and put it in a bag and board. It's because nobody was keeping their comics and preserving them. If you look in the old movies, you can see kids reading comic books. They rolled them and they just, like they abused the shit out of them because it was just a kid's comic. No one cared. You didn't like at the comic book stores now. I know they were offering for like collectors. You bought them and they would pre-bag and board them right out of the shipping box from Diamond, so that it was never even touched. Like they would wear gloves, put it right in. It was like untouched. It'll grade, because people wanted to buy and the store would say, I'm going to give you a copy that should at least get a 9.6, if not a 9.8. And it was like, did you read it? No. It's like, what are you buying it for? Well, why you're not actually, collecting to read the thing, or like at least people who buy vinyl usually listen to it. Like, hopefully listen to it.
I mean, I got all 3 covers of Isom and I've never opened the box. But I'm not a comic reader. I just bought it to support Eric. And
Yeah, I'm the same.
if it ever does become big, I've got 3 signed copies of all 3 variations of the first one.
It's funny you say that. A lot of times having the signature it actually reduces any value.
Yeah, but I don't really care either way. I mean, like I said, it was mostly to support Eric.
Yeah, that's why I avoid getting like stuff graded or something. Like if you sign it, don't ever get it personalized. If you intend to, like, if you're getting the creator signature because you want to have more value, don't ask them to personalize it.
Right.
That'll actually basically
makes it to where only somebody with your exact name
it nukes the value.
Care to want it.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's a fine line. When I got creators to sign or do things, I never did it because I wanted to sell it. I wanted it for me. So I did get them to personalize it. So yeah, like Davina says, read your comics.
That's what they're for.
Have a good, we got Eric leaving. Night, Eric. Thanks for hanging out in chat. I think we've kind of pretty much covered everything because we only put the 2 topics on. I figured this would be kind of a go all over the place show because Venom wasn't anything that wasn't going to require a deep dive to talk about. I'm glad you actually got to talk about it since you went through the trouble of watching it, Brahma.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're probably going to talk about it on Monday night because I think the rest of the guys are going to try to see it because I told them it wasn't horrible. It wasn't great. It was a movie. It was a good popcorn flick.
Just,
good
movies
buddy
are
comic movie.
Movies are a fickle slut. Sometimes
Yes.
they're good and sometimes they're bad. Yeah, so
It was such a good line. The delivery of it was perfect.
I would love. I want to. I think if the election goes the way things seem to be breaking, I want to do a montage where we work that line into like Kamala when she first was riding high versus the end. Like, Kamala, get and
The
maybe get
Democrats
Grant,
are all fickle sluts.
get Grant Gregory to do the AI. Kamala, it's okay. Luck is a fickle slut. Oh. Yeah, Davina's given those pro tips. Just buy the cheap reproductions to read, or buy 2 copies, if you want to do that stuff. Those are all the good things. They overprinted, overindulged. Don't get into a hobby because you think it'll make you money, because that's never how you make money. If you do, like, if you were collecting vinyl, you're never making money off it because you were buying vinyl to like flip. Come on, you don't treat it
if you're
like
buying a whole bunch of something, don't throw it away or give it away. Like NES collection, never gave any of the games away, never sold them, just kept them all. They're not really worth all that much, but I've still got them. They all still play.
Yep. It's keep the stuff that my wife watched the Marie Konto thing on Netflix a few years back. Like, does it spark joy? Is it something that you enjoy, like just having like Imp with the Gunpla? It's his fun hobby. He loves doing it. It sparks joy. It's worth it. He's not going to turn around and like, even though Gunpla can sell for money, like I doubt he's selling his collection, and that's why he's doing it.
Well, he sold his magic cards.
I
For
guess
one
that was
the value.
The
Yeah.
magic is gone.
Yeah, that was a cue to see if Imp wanted to keep talking, but he's probably not paying attention. I was trying to include you, man, but it's all right. It's fine.
I think people have heard enough about my Gunpla addiction, so
It's fun. We have overlap. We did a whole thing on anime, and people loved it. I still copied Kitty had asked
3 hours in,
yeah
20 minutes, and I have
you already
come to
ended it.
understand why you need me.
Yeah, because we're hanging